Yo, 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 welcome to It's Up There podcast. You know the vibrations, Big Loon, fastest growing podcast in the world. Whole game is tuned in. It's Up There podcast, man. We hold a special place in the people's heart. I want to say thank you for being here. Hit whatever button that indicate that you was involved with whatever movement I got going on. You know, that's how they weigh these things up, and we are playing a market share game. And so even though I'm putting high level game down and you fucking with the highest level of understanding, you must cooperate in the process, right? Because if you come up missing in regards to cooperation, then it make me look like that I'm falling on deaf ears. And you got to know I'm a man of risk assessment. So if I ain't being paid for the time being spent and for the services rendered, we gonna have an issue. And I think what I provide to the game provides the game a certain level of understanding. And it's being appreciated, man. So I want to thank everybody for being here to see this video right now. Head to patreon.com. It's Up There podcast. Now that's out the way. You know who you dealing with. Let's get into the game. I've had a crazy week this week. Just in this week right here, I'm going to run it down to y'all and we'll get into the show. But you know I like to keep y'all abreast, up to date in regards to what it is that's happening with the pod in real time, because some of y'all been here for a minute. Some of y'all going back and diving deep in, and I can appreciate that. But just this week, right, I spoke to QCP. He reposted something. It was like, bro, we got to cross paths. I got to get you involved with what I'm going on. Rap Snacks reached out to me. Yo, we going to get on the phone. I need to sponsor something you got going on. Mandy from Horrible Decision. Shout out to Mandy. We had a conversation, planning on getting some work done. Wax, that does the pod with Loudspeaker, man. Spoke to him like, bro, crazy week on the lines, and just getting myself involved with people behind the scenes that really believe in this, man. And so I want to say thank you to everybody that's always making me or helping me understand what it is I bring to the game. You can get lost. I was thinking, man, like, because you got to have a different mindset to do some of these things by yourself, right? So when you hustle by yourself, you develop a certain kind of mindset, a certain understanding, some certain expectations, right? And so there's a certain feeling for niggas that want you to feel like you in debt with them when you know damn well you been hustling by yourself, right? And it ain't a situation where nobody pressing a line on you or none, but you can kind of feel that niggas ain't happy for you. They really ain't happy with you. Niggas really starting to dislike you as you starting to be happy with yourself. You got to be careful with niggas that's around you and be careful with people, because people will show themselves. Just give them time and give them the right circumstances. Y'all forget that the plant don't grow if the circumstances ain't right. If the soil ain't right, if it ain't getting the right amount of sunshine, the plant won't grow. So the circumstances, niggas always talking about they ain't a snitch. Niggas always talking about what they won't do, but they ain't never been caught with nothing to say, yeah, you got to do this or do that. You understand? So it's always convenient to speak on things that you ain't encountered, right? And I think it's a mistake when you involve yourself with things you have limited to no information on. When I speak on things when I'm browsing, because also with that being said, if you in this life and you ain't browsing, meaning you ain't thinking the ideas of how to further life, how to live longer, the quality of life, how you want to come up with things, if you ain't one of them men, then you already dead. Respectfully, till you want to be retired and laying up somewhere, I'm in hustle mode. And I spoke about last week about people wanting to live off you, right? You living like you living off your hustle, and they want to live like you, off you. It's an uncomfortable thing, and I think it's a conversation to be had. Although it's uncomfortable, I think it's critical, right? I think a lot of people's understanding has been compromised. The way you even look at how I get my money, it look easy, but you ain't taking in consideration what it took for it to get there, right? It's easier to drive the car than to make the car. So the understanding of the person making the car is different from the understanding of the person that's driving the car, because the motherfucker that's making the car got to consider the person that's driving the car, but the driver don't never got to consider the person that's making the car. And I'm somewhat making cars with drivers in mind, meaning my hustle gonna explode so hard that the people around me ought to be able to eat off of that. Right? So I'm making cars, vehicles. The vehicle that I'm hustling out of, the one that's getting me to my destination, is one of such that the people around me should be able to catch a ride. If they hustlers, but we don't do handouts, we do handoffs. It's a difference. I've always explained the difference, but you're dealing with the highest level of understanding. Tell if you ain't got no hustle, you in bad shape. You can't beg your way in the position. It's impossible. It's been begging since the beginning of time. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. I think the people that's in the position where the big homie got a bag, or they're around some rich people and they getting money from them, or even attempting to get money from them, I don't think they understand the position that's putting them in. You can't beg your way up on $1 million unless you're doing some kind of, some scam. And I'm talking about from your partner. I don't care how much money your partner got. The problem is that people that usually beg from their partner that's hustling good, those kind of guys usually have this certain trait, right? There's a very distinguishable trait that they have, that beggars are usually greedy. And if you're greedy, you won't have no hustle because you won't have no respect for the money. You understand? Because how you get your money is you just ask for it. So you don't got no respect for the grind and the grit that it take, no matter how easy it look at this point, man. Like I say, the more money you getting, it's hard to explain to you what it took. That's why I don't understand why they ain't happy and proud when they partner get on, or somebody they know getting on. They ain't clapping for them, literally, because they don't got his bankroll. Literally, because if you had any kind of hustle, he just cut the air on in the house. Yeah, it was hot in the house. He just cut the air on. So not only he may be the one with the vent, but give it so long, it's going to be some seeping in the house. We going to get some money if we hustlers. But the mindset of a man or a person, that renders no services and think they can beg their way in $1 million position, that's a strange mindset to have. Like, to each his own. I don't respect it. I don't got no type of tolerance for it, because I know that it's an unwanted behavior. It's a trick that the human being came up with. I'm going to trick you into giving me your money to live like you live off you. And we identify that trick. But my thing is, in the industry, whatever game you in, whatever hustle you pushing, it's important. I'm loud about this because it's important that people understand this. It ain't no help coming, and that's okay. You got to be about your hustle. We understand that it's a cold world, but the game is cold, and you got to get crafty. You got to be a craftsman. You can't be just a regular. If you trying to come up. I'm talking about the hustlers. I ain't talking about the ones that's okay with complacency. The ones that can sit down and be still because they comfortable with where they currently sit. Those ain't the ones that activate when they hear giving high level understanding. Those can scroll past because they feel as though they already where they need to be. The first thing I always tell a young, it's a cold world, and make sure you understand that. Make sure you got something to keep warm, but you damn sure ain't getting nowhere in this cold world asking, can you borrow a coat? That speaks to you. Do you know it's cold around here? Ain't nobody giving up coats like ain't selling guns. Everybody holding things that they feel as though it's necessities, and you can't be begging for necessities, and money is a necessity. Don't never put you or your family in a situation to be begging for necessities. I ain't talking about falling on your or falling on bad times and needing to push up. Nah, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about don't never, ever, ever sit down in that. Don't never be comfortable with your legs broken. Before I go any further, because I wasn't going to speak about this, but I'm getting bigger. My platform is getting larger, and they need me to speak on the other side of things. I want to speak about Michael Rubin's party. For those of you who do not know who Michael Rubin is, Michael Rubin is a billionaire. I think he owns the Philadelphia 76ers, or he just sold it, along with the owner of the Patriots. So they're billionaires that's close to our rappers, that's close to the people that we celebrate in the culture. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when you ask me and I look at it, I think it's access to information. The billionaires got a different level of information just in that casual talking, in that casual relationships with people. You know, their friends may be dudes that maintain 200 or 300 million a year, right? And here I am creeping in with 8 million a year, rubbing shoulders with businessmen. For me, I don't understand, because you talk about them if they stay in the hood and they don't elevate, and then they try to get around the dudes where they can access information, and then dudes talk about it as well. I don't know what's happening at the parties. Let me be clear with that. I don't go. But I do know when I look at those parties, right? When I look at something like a Michael Rubin party or a Diddy brunch or Rock Nation brunch or some of these big parties, I know information is in the building. Yeah, access is in the building. Yeah, so any hustler gonna look at that and understand what that is, but you think niggas going there as rappers. Y'all don't let these boys out the rap shit. Now, as far as whatever they doing, I don't know what happens because I don't go. I gotta repeat that. But I think a lot of the people in our culture now, they hungry to elevate. Dudes is hungry to get to the next level, and you got to understand that elevation speaks to your confidence. That speaks to you thinking that I'm not as far as I can go yet. And I think sometimes people and I'll go ahead and say it like academics. I hear academics start a narrative, and boy, more and more I deal with our media, I say, Loon, your voice is more important than you can even understand, because the voice of reason is gone. You got people that's identifying things that they not sure of. They were never involved, so it's no way to have the instruction manual. You have no way to identify what you're looking at. Therefore, you do what I would like to say is clickbait journalism, right? So you do your best at try to say, damn, is it this, is it that? But with the limited understanding, you muddy the water. So it's important for me to come out and speak on some of these things. These dudes are trying to elevate, bro. Rappers is trying to get out of rap. The rap game ain't really the elevation game unless you constantly going number one. You can get some money in it, but boy, you can take that money you getting and that visibility and get over here and get over there and see the hole and shake up through there, and how dudes not respecting that. And to me, elevation is important to have. But I think a lot of people that speak about some of these things like the Michael Rubin party or what's happening at the Rock Nation brunch, number one, these are people that's not invited. I'll deal with that in just a second. But number two, I think you're dealing with satisfied people. And it's important you be careful with a motherfucker that's satisfied. See, it's a difference, and the haters will try to make you think that you don't appreciate what you got just because you ain't satisfied. Knowing is two different things, and if they don't know, we ain't got no business talking. Because I'm trying to involve myself with people with high level understanding, and it seems like you lost if you don't understand that you're dealing with a man that ain't satisfied. I feel as though elevation is still in the manual. It's still in my sight. It's in my vision. I got a long way to go. Right? And so when you talk and when you deal with people and they speak and they're satisfied with that little position that they're in, well, I'm just happy that I made it here. I don't got to do nothing else. Right? I'm not satisfied. Once I go number one in the culture, I take the culture with me number one in the world. Once we go number one in the world, we bring that audience back to the culture and try to figure out how to disperse that. It's important to bring that back. You're missing that part. They missing that part. Now they gonna run off with it, tuck and roll. They don't know it's a bomb when you keep it to yourself. It blow up in your hand. It's hot potato. The audience is hot potato. That's the audience, the hot potato. And then they get to saying, yo, that dude is always running a play. Now we like him because he's more like a coach than a player. And what you got to do in this game is make sure that the audience knows. See, I come in with high-level game. They instantly put me in coach mode. They knowing Lil Dude got some information. They ain't f***ing with him like a player. We f***ing with him like a coach. So again, but your job is to try to let the audience know you ain't f***ing with a player. You f***ing with a coach. Know what I'm saying? And once they start viewing you that way, they appreciate you different. You know, the rappers and the execs get different kind of fan mail. Yeah, within the fan mail with the execs is business deals. The fan mail with the rappers, they get perfume and panties. Respectfully, because I like rappers and them my dogs. But it's important I verify the game so they can make sure that they capitalizing on that little shit they got going on. Because anytime they think they at the top and that's where they gonna stay, they let me know they ain't dealing with no game. Any emotional decision is a bad decision. And you got to be caught in your emotions to ignore the results we've been dealing with for 100 years. The tables will turn. Learn how to become a man that know how to make an assist. But back to the Michael Rubin thing. I guess people viewing it away, right? So they cite the video, couple videos of things happening at the party, and I think Baby had a thing said, and this is why I don't get this again, what I'm saying. The media guy reaching for straws, man. They struggling with content, man. Listen to me, man. This Big Loon, it's up there podcast, Revolt TV. Hit me, dog. They struggling with content out there. They can't even sit down and have. I go 2-3 hours by myself. I'm flooded with information. I'm different. They struggling. So they go to reaching. Now you see Michael Rubin, a billionaire, rush up and tell Baby, yo, and let me make sure that they don't think, because it's important. I know I'm playing with the internet. It's a very slippery place. So give me a second, audience. I'm sorry about this. I gotta explain this. I continue to say he's a billionaire, not because I believe he means more to us because of the money that he has. I think that our problem and our ceiling and our culture has always been our access to information. And so we can get close to people and involved with people that's involved with billionaires. It allows us a runway to that information. And let me be clear to the billionaires, we can do it on our own. But it just take a little longer. And we playing a game to help each other. If we go selfish, we can be like, man, I ain't got the main them information. But I ain't playing the selfish game. I know everybody eating off the game I'm putting down. You don't know I get hundreds of DMs a day saying, yo, bro, I'm eating off that. You feed me, boy. That ain't no podcast you got going on over. I don't know what the fuck you done start calling that. I'm eating off that. It's hard for innovation to live with a man that's satisfied with his position. It's just rough for you to create something. Right? You become complacent. It's a weird place you get caught up in, but I don't know what's happening at the Michael Rubin party or the Diddy brunch or the Diddy party or the Rock Nation brunch, because I ain't there. But let me be clear, what I'm hearing, what sounds like an internet guy's attempt to explain some that he wasn't invited to. Yeah, it get weird when you outside the club. Yeah, it get weird. I know what it's like, homie. It ain't, you outside the club, they won't let you in. Or you just got to wait in line. You're going to eventually get in there. Right? But I think this is a interesting thing because what I think is happening is a mirage of things happening. Right? I also think we could be dealing with it, and you can prove me wrong or say that I'm wrong and help me understand where I'm getting this from. But it also seems like that Act made, because in my opinion, Act is a guy that kind of grew up online, right? So it's almost like he lacks the courage to say, hey, can I come? He come up under them Joe Budden niggas and shit like that. I ain't going nowhere and y'all got to come to me vibe, right? And the game passing them up respectfully, right? It's unfortunate they done added another move to the game. They done add the collaboration. So you over in the corner trying to do it on your own. The work for two men should never be done by one man. So you hurting yourself. But let me explain what Michael Rubin said to Lil Baby. Michael Rubin said, hey, if you sleep from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., then I get to cut off some of your dreads. Right? And they took that and said, whoa, that's weird. We never hear what the white man is betting and things like that. And again, I don't know what's happening there because I'm not there. What I do know is I ain't going to ask that's not there what's happening there. You don't ask a barber, do you need a haircut? His job is to say, yeah. These niggas is not invited and they talking about a party that they ain't got the courage to just say, hey, can I come to? This podcast gonna smother, man. If niggas don't get that shit right, nigga, podcast ain't gonna get right, home. Cause I look at a lot of these dudes that was in position 6 years ago, like they done dropped the ball. Y'all had audiences for 6-7 years and y'all ain't did nothing for real with them. You know, a couple of you the greatest flea flickers ever known to man, but as far as hustling, y'all ain't showing me nothing. Respectfully, you know what I'm saying? Now, the big dogs that done cut it out, the niggas that's going with, they got their little festivals going on the side and they live shows, they killing. Ain't nothing you can say. Some of y'all claiming big dog and can't sell tickets and tricking the internet. And then speaking about what niggas that's moving tickets and moving shit is doing with the people that's moving shit outside of the music industry. I get, yo, bro, that's why it's important for niggas like me to show up in this media thing, because if not, they'll get to blur the lines, and then what? Yo, this man, if a basically, Baby was saying, yo, you know I'm hustling too hard to sleep that long. I'm hustling. I ain't finna sleep to 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. I'm hustling, baby. But instead of picking that out of it and say, look at little baby right there with a on an NBA team, explaining to him that even though I'm to my rap friends, I'm successful, I ain't sleeping that long. Instead of him taking that angle, it's like, yo, we don't hear what the white man is. For me, bro, it's like, yo, bro, if you want to go, just say that. If you want to be in that motherfucker, just say that. That's why I'm telling. They don't know what to do with their little audience they got. That's how I know dudes ain't really come from nothing. Respectfully, and just done got rich. And it's cool to be rich, but that don't mean nothing where I'm from. Everybody got money. That little rich shit don't work with us. That little I'm rich. Who you niggas playing with that I'm rich? We know you lame. If niggas is rich and that's all it take is to be rich, man, we in trouble. Can't trigger with that I'm rich gang. Cause you the game done changed and you become a has-been. It's better to be a has-been than it never was, but you ain't finna talk like, yo, bro, y'all niggas not moving tickets. If we really start talking about it, and it's important I speak for the real ones, man, because don't have time to come back and forth with it. And then it's my job. They paid me well to identify the game. And I got 3-4 shows in production, so I'm playing a different game than. And far as what I'm saying is like, I reiterate, I don't know what's happening at the party. I don't know. But I know not to ask a nigga that ain't at the party. Again, our media is becoming dangerous. Black media, not even black media. I won't put that on all of us because that's disrespecting the game. And I operate outside of just this little hip-hoppy shit. But the hip-hop media, y'all is starting to piss people off. We can't even depend on y'all for nothing, it seemed like. Respectfully, too, because a lot of y'all are following engage on y'all accounts. Y'all showing me the blueprint, so I ain't saying you ain't hustling. I'm just saying that you're careless. You know, you're a little careless with this media thing, right? And so let's move forward. I want to speak about how media has framed a couple of things that I've seen in the past couple of days. And it's interesting because if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But paying attention to communication gonna start to being more important than knowing what's in your bank account around here. They can deplete your funds. They can't take your info from you. They can crash the whole banking system, but they can't tell a nigga he don't know how to do agriculture and feed his family. Right? When all hell break loose and the power grid go off or whatever, because it's a different conversation. I'll get to that later. But I want to talk about how media has framed some things in the last couple of days that has made me bat an eye. Here's another point, and I want to make this about the Michael Rubin thing before I move on. It's crazy that, again, you get your information from someone that's not invited to the party, and they describe the party as something outside of it being access to information, as well as, this is what I find interesting. You don't have a problem when you see it in the projects around guns and 1,000 around, and you don't even say, man, why is baby them down in the hood, or why Meek them, and why they down there, man? Damn, they worth too much to be doing that. But you see a with billionaires doing something, whatever it is, that could be took whatever kind of way you want to take it, and you view that and you critical of that. They let me know it's dumb, because being smart, being intelligent is the ability to recognize opportunity. So if you don't see an opportunity in me going to party with the people that own NFL and NBA teams, but you see no problem with me standing next to with illegal firearms while RICO charges is at an all-time high. I may got a problem with the way you viewing me to begin with. You think I'm T-1000. You think I'm some kind of crash shot. You ain't thinking I'm elevating, and that's the problem. Don't nobody in the media trust the rap to elevate. Everybody think the rap dumb. They stand next to them with that lean and shit. They don't think they up there doing business. Can close 10 deals and a nigga won't say nothing. Nigga make one slip and get caught with a firearm, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the culture somehow calls that media. And here I come, big feet in the sand, my own money, coming to put game down, saying, yo, what y'all doing? We changing that. We ain't just echoing what they talking about with Gunna. They ain't even, them folks said she brought half the drugs in for Gunna. What type, when they ever done that? And did she tell you that? And how y'all say that before y'all caught her? And how y'all say that without her even saying that to y'all? And when did y'all catch her? Why did that come out today? And why did... So many questions that our media should ask, and they don't bother. But if they see us again in what they think is normal for us, they have no issue. There's a reason why these media people think like that, and I think that it'll remain unknown. I'm not sure we'll uncover the true intentions of why people fail to see some of these situations for what they could be, not what they look like. Because if we know anything about the internet, we know what it look like ain't what it naturally is. So I need to start opening my mind to what it could be every time I see something, because ain't no way in the hell it is what I'm looking at when I'm dealing with the internet. They con me. But you don't ask a barber, do you need a haircut? That gonna say, yeah, you just got out of his chair. You gonna say, boy, you need a haircut. It's his job. Is not invited in the party, saying what happening at the party and how weird the party is. Look, whatever bet is making, I think when you get to that level, they make them kind of bets where it ain't about money no more. So whatever bets they making, that's on them. But dog, come on, slime. You see 1,000 niggas around me with guns, you don't say nothing. Yo, bro, y'all keep going to mix and mingle with niggas as long as it's real shit, as long as ain't no shit happening. Y'all mix and mingle with them billionaires, these media niggas. Man, come on, man. Respectfully to y'all media dudes, but like, I can't let it continue to happen in that way. Somebody got to speak about the other side, right? Somebody got to say, well, hold up. Everybody went off and posted that. Hold up. Let me say this about that, though. Again, let me spend some time on this. Gunna had a court case in which he was denied bond. He went up for bond and tried to get a bond, and you see some of the tricks played by Fulton County or any government agency as they try to frame you. Again, I tell niggas sometimes the frame costs more than the picture. Sometimes how they frame it mean more than what they put in the frame. I'm putting you down. But Gunna goes up, and again, our media, black media, hip hop, sorry for continue to saying black media because it's much bigger than just this little subsection that I love and that I have been involved with, right? But this subsection of hip hop type media, they instantly took every story that demeaned rappers. Even though they didn't make the story, I think they should have framed it different. And not all the media. I think Hollywood Unlocked might have put a spin on it. And so all of a sudden, again, I'll deal with the media aspect of it. But all of a sudden, when Gunna goes up for bond, they pop up with, hey, yo, man, this lady got caught with some drugs coming in to bring it to him. Did what they come out with in the courtroom telling the judge that. And what they said to me is, damn, they can't just trust what they already have. See, when you trust what you got, you don't reach for more. I keep telling you, be careful and watch a motherfucker when they satisfied. That say a lot about them. Don't look like they satisfied. Look like they still reaching for shit on Gunna. Like, yo. So when I first seen it, I said, damn, that's weird how they put that out. I won't be regurgitating that in that way, but all the media put that out. Lady said, lady bringing drugs in from Gunna. Lady bringing drugs in for Gunna. All the media outlets. I'm like, yo, can we frame this different? There's a couple questions we need to ask about this, and I'm not sure we got to them yet. Number one, they said that part of it was Gunna's. Now, was it a name tag in the bag? This little section here is for Gunna. This section is for Lil Roger. This section is for OG Bankroll. Like, what you mean? What you mean? But don't nobody ask that. Everybody just roll with it, man. They were trying to bring drugs in and they regurgitating it, not knowing if they're affecting the jury that may be selected of quote unquote peers. You understand? Because they playing this game for a reason. They put it out like that for a reason. But you ask yourself, how do you know what part was for Gunna? That was number one. Number two is, you said when you asked her, she took off. So if she took off, that means you don't have her in custody. If you don't have her in custody, that means you don't have a statement. If you had a statement, I think you would have led with she has said she brought it in for Gunna, and they probably gonna try to make her say that. But prior to even having that, y'all take the position of saying, yo, she was bringing this in for him. Now, ain't a name tag in the bag. You don't have the lady in custody who you saying brought the stuff in for him. And then I would ask, when did this happen? Was this yesterday? Or did y'all been catch her? Why isn't he charged? Why isn't she charged? Why? Right? There's different questions to be asked, but I mean, it just instantly went with it. Man, is it a Gunna calling the weed for Gunna, calling the weed. I'm like, yo, whoa. Ain't no big homie energy in the media nowhere. They just running with the, yo, bro, we got to be careful. We are affecting things with this social media, man. I know we think, well, they said, and we just put, yo, I ain't saying hide the information. I'm saying let's approach it with some intellect. You hear everybody talk about culture, you know, and I talk about it too. I'm big on culture. Culture is important, but I think language is more important than culture. Language is important. Understanding the language of the culture, right? That's how you know what tribe you from. And what I'm noticing is in this industry, what they call culture, there's people in this culture that don't identify with our language. All skin folks ain't kinfolk, right? And so when you look at it, you go to saying, damn, these dudes is up here and they don't even understand us. Oh, they don't understand we hustling. He don't know what's going on. Because he in the culture, but he don't speak the language. Now it's understanding that's missing. Now it's involvement that he doesn't have. Yeah, it's inclusion that he hasn't experienced. He don't know nothing about that. So the nigga be on the outside looking in, saying what he think he saw and put 10 on it. But the lines get blurred. Everybody in the culture don't speak the language. I remember a time T-Pain got into it with Future, because Future and Ace Hood did a song, said, I woke up in a new Bugatti. He came out and said, yo, that's my Bugatti. I don't know what it. Oh, man, he ain't one of us. Respectfully to Pain, that's the homeboy, but yo, oh, man, he don't know we hustling. This is a song. I'm hustling. You trying to chop it down? What was that? I woke up in it. I'm trying to hustle. What was that? You ain't part of the, boy, you look just like one of us. What come up missing then? That nigga come out and go to telling people that's my Bugatti. That beside the point. What we doing? We got a song out, man. What is? Now the white man who done that, the Bird man, you know, he was looking for some clout or whatever. But I didn't expect him to, and that was a long time ago. But you has come up through this, and hey, yo, that's my Bugatti. They doing that in. I don't know. I didn't understand that, but that lets me know this industry, this culture is filled with people who may not understand the language. And language is more important than culture. Strategy is more important than strength, right? So I think I don't give a how strong we is. If you lift it wrong, you're going to hurt your back. You're going to lift it one time. And again, you know what I always say, repetition is what we need, staying power. How many times can you get from here to there with 2 or 3 of them? Not can I do it once. The greats done that hustling thing you like 15 times and they still going. You got to hawk them down if you plan on playing in the big leagues. They done set the standard. But to me, with Gunna, it just shows you that they don't have much. It's almost like, oh, they don't trust what they got, so they reaching. And that's what it looks like. They even brought up a couple of murders. Man, ain't know what we talking about. What are we... Yo, all these what ifs. But you know that the phone kind of scared to let somebody out, especially somebody that is financially capable of taking care of the family and uplifting any kind of positivity to the movement or to the, they want all that shut down. So that's their job, and they gonna continue to do so. They gonna try to always lock that in, but yeah, they're afraid to let somebody out like Gunna or somebody like that. Not afraid in terms of what he might do, but in terms of who, in terms of his voice, in terms of him now being able to, because you can zoom in on Jimmy Kimmel and CNN and go to talking about lyrics, and you know what I'm saying? It just feels like that they reaching, man, when it comes to that. And I just hope our media get that right. Like, we don't gotta, let's ask some questions when these things come out. And, you know, I'm going to start something to help out with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't just, that ain't the way to go. We find ourselves in unfortunate circumstances. Every time I see a rapper go down, I just seen Hot Boy went on Big Facts before he got locked up. Shout out to the family, Big Facts. And he was just talking about his RICO charge and what it's like. And man, I always say, bro, we some savvy thinkers. We craftsmen, man. We very crafty men. And all these RICOs have underlying rapper indications. So as we grow in life, man, and as we are unfairly listed for something outside of entertainers due to conditions that was preordained prior to our arrival, it becomes more apparent of how unfair it is. And we learn. We not just dumb people, right? We go through things, we learn, but man, we give our life to learn. We don't get the benefit of the doubt. See, I know enough to know that good judgment comes from bad judgment, especially for us, right? When we learn, it's because, like, I know a couple of homies did 20s and 25s. They done learned a good lesson, but they gave their life to the lesson. And we the only culture that got to give our life to learn because of the unfair things that we have to be faced against, dog. It's some of it is self-inflicted because of the things we indulge in, but I'm telling you, the conditions, it ain't as easy to get out as people say it is. But I'm learning watching Gunna, as I've already been through court cases, I'm noticing a lot of people talking about this culture, especially, and the fucked up thing is, I'm not saying you got to be a gangster hoodlum to talk about the culture. What I'm saying is a lot of the people from the culture like to talk about the negative things, the negative aspect of the culture. The negative aspect of the culture means you need to have a little experience on some of the things they're dealing with. You can't talk about court. You've never been to court. You can't talk about why got caught with an AK after he been shot on the water. Maybe he from Miami and he know about people. They'll get you on that water. You know, so again, you don't have any understanding, so everything is dumb to the people with no understanding, right? When you go to Asia and talk that American talk, you sound dumb. They don't know what you're saying, but over here in America, you a wizard with that shit you talking. You understand? So it's all about conditions and the environment. But it's a trick that the law does, and all you got to do is pay attention. Some of the shit you will never know, but they say one of the tricks is if the law is against you, argue the facts. If the facts are against you, argue the law. If both are against you, I can't give you the whole thing. You got to go to. I can't give you all the game. That's too much game. That's too much game. But there's tricks being played in that courtroom. There's tricks everywhere being played. You just got to be a that can identify what a trick is being played. But in closing of this topic, in the Gunna topic, it's starting, in my opinion, to become dangerous for us or for someone or some people, or for it to be able to be purchased. The ability to send things through the outlets that affect the understanding of the black culture, right? They just, because once it comes from one of those outlets, it's okay to regurgitate that information no matter what, not even thinking about it. And I think that's becoming dangerous because you can feed certain narratives to that. You can feed certain things into that. And it's important that, why isn't just good information goes through there? Why is it, that's some really good information, but 10,000 for it to be posted over there? Like, I just don't understand that. But if the lady that they saying got caught with something for Gunna, which they had no proof of, they posted everywhere. That was $100,000 worth of marketing for free. For free. Some kind of way somebody got to explain that to me. And you're not dealing with nobody who ain't being the change that they want to see. I talk about everything, but I make sure or try to at least put game down. I'm putting game down, and that's why I talk about these guys or talk about whatever I want to talk about, because someone saying it can't be done don't need to interrupt a motherfucker doing it. Y'all said that I can't make it putting game down, and the whole game love my shit. So I'm doing something right? So again, I'm putting myself in position not only to call it out, but to say, yo, let's put some medicine in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's true, let's teach people how, this how they found out that. Right? And I think it's my understanding that has to be at the forefront of that. I'm the leader of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunate for my haters, I'm the leader of this shit. Now, I will speak about this because I think it's important. Our culture has a situation in which we see fear in, I wouldn't say supporting each other. I don't know if it's acknowledgement, but there's something going on where we see some kind of, it's something happening, right? When we are in a position to embrace each other. One thing though, I couldn't, it amazed me, man. And I'm going to play the video, but it amazed me. When I looked at over the last couple of days, there was a couple of white rappers pop up out of nowhere. One of them sound like Lil Baby, and one of them sound like, I don't know if it's some blue face shit. I don't know what it is. But both these little dudes, and shout out to these little dudes. I don't got nothing against these little dudes. You know, I think they should be somewhere playing disc golf. You know, but it ain't my business. I'm more concentrated on my people and the reaction of my people to these things. I think we embrace white people a little faster, and that's unfortunate. That hurt my feelings. Boy, you know how much high-level game I put down? And only the real niggas really embracing this shit. Like a lot of the bougie industry, the well-to-do industry, they done come up missing. And it can't be about the culture because I'm elevating the culture. It's undeniable. I'm putting game down. So you know how much I put down, and they ain't got, boy, let's look at the video first and I'll come back and talk about it. Give me a second. So you hear that? You know that is the young man who, one of the white little rappers I was just speaking about. Shout out to him. It didn't sound bad. I'll be honest with you. It didn't sound bad. Let's read what Ebro said. Legendary Ebro, Hot 97 says, okay, sounding more than many and better vocab than some, plus some self-reflection and life perspective. Good. Ebro is a legend, a Hot 97 in this game. Like, he's not only, he's giving opportunities on their side as a long back and forth that they've been doing with Hot 97 and Breakfast Club, but he's a legend. What I don't understand, though, is that I think that they've took sides against drill music before. And because of White Boy, he started off with a slimy maneuver, and I don't understand. All this talk, you were an internet shooter, and that's cool because it come from a white boy. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really something there, right? I don't think that we could tie what he's doing to any violence if we want to get to the root of things, right? So we can handle it with intellect. But I'm saying a lot of times, a lot of these crimes that they speak about aren't tied to violence. It's tied to influence. And so when they speak to the influence that it has, it can spawn out, and he can spawn out for white people the same way. But I know something, and again, I'll get to the other white dude that jump in with the little baby style, and it's all interesting to me. But I know that they take advantage of our culture because we good people, we nice, we welcoming, we forgiving. But what we need to understand is, boy, when the liquor free, everybody drink. Now, don't nobody turn down free liquor. You gonna let anybody come get rich off this shit? We ain't taxing these white people, and y'all want to rap and take little baby style, and you get marketing budget they paying, and y'all oppose that. This a white boy trying to steal the flavor, but I know, again, when the liquor free, everybody drink. They ain't now some turning no free liquor down. And I also be wanting to know them white boys, like especially him, with the slimy maneuver. I be wondering, like, what they like when the camera off, like when they at home. Like, is you playing disc golf? You know, is you doing shit like that? Well, you know, and I'm fucking with that Bert Kreischer and them my guys. Joey ain't a white dude, but he cool with a Theo Von, them my boys. But I'm saying, they ain't finna let me come do country music and take over. Nah, ain't gonna happen. They actually gonna be saying, who let the black dude in doing country music? I got to really go pay one of they people to stand beside me. You don't even got to pay a rapper to stand beside you as a white boy. Because, see, even that I can understand. Like, you're a white little rapper stealing somebody's style. You know, bring me 100,000, I do a verse. My going rate is 20. You pay me the 100, I do the verse. Bam. That's business. I can understand that. But they'll market and promote and uplift a white rapper that took a black rapper style. And a black putting real game down can't get no respect or love, or can't get on these different platforms. I want y'all to pay attention to this, because there needs to be an update. Yeah, we need to send firmware down through the mind frame around here. They off. They just doing anything. Let's take a look at the other white rapper. And I hate to say it like that because I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm identifying the attributes because my culture has a colorful way of thinking. Right? We understand things the way they were presented to us. So y'all the motherfuckers that started white bathroom, black bathroom. So that's, some of my people still only understand it from that way. So when you hear me get in that bag, that's only because of that. And I want to be clear to the people that I'm in business with, that I understand things and how the media works. So just allow me to work and we'll make a lot of money. But let's look at the other white rapper that took Lil Baby style.
Run up the city, you know how we turn up. I run with the boss, you get caught with a burner. Cut in my crib, but you know I return it. If they catch you lacking, that might be a murder. You just a lame, come in hand with a real one. I'm rocking with bosses, you know we mean million. But talking crazy, you know that we drill 'em. Empty shoe boxes, you know how we fill 'em. Put up with a beam in the SRT, I cop a new whip, now she all on me. Tryna act black, but I'm white as can be. I'm white, little baby, no one harder than me. Make the road moon outside RIP. Flexing these bands, all happy to see. Keep getting checks like an MVP. Ball like a run up the city, you know.
Boy, when the liquor free, they'll let anybody drink. Boy, when the liquor free, everybody drink, boy. Y'all better quit making this shit free.
You know we mean million. Boy, talking crazy, you know that we drill 'em. Ain't on JB. Now we living lavish. Man, time we ain't have it. Playing with a boss, got a gun, go grab it. Cop a new watch every time I didn't have it. Come from the mud and I say I'm really capping.
And then you see Lil Baby replies that, is this a joke or is he serious? Then that, like I said, everybody go to posting that, all the whole culture posted, and maybe because Baby commented it, but I don't think it needs to get traction. I don't think they need to post it to begin with when they take it. If it's bro, it's just, that shit just, it amazes me, man. It amazes me, man. And they post it like that, sounds like Lil Baby, like, because they know Lil Baby audience is going to come and see. Like, it's a weird thing happening. Even with the other one, let me go to his comments and just show you something. So if you're looking at the screen right now, you see he's been reposted by Chris Brown, right? I also want to show you that on the post here where he has the video.
In the shooter, you be saying rap cap from behind the computer.
Cut the music off. I just want you to look at how many, and I like to see us supporting hip hop, but look at all of this. All these rappers under them. All these rappers under there. Look at that. All them blue chicks, all these people under there. I want you to show me an up and coming rapper or a rapper that's even in the industry that's signed. There's rappers that sign that don't get that much traction under that they call each other brother. Yo, it's a weird thing, bro. I don't know why we will embrace white people doing our dance in a way that looks like, and I don't know, because knowing is participation, and I ain't participated in it. But what looks like and feels like that we would give passes to people that enter in the culture and sit by the offering table. Here I am putting major game, and now street this provide knowledge, no earn your leisure type figure, no mental health advocate, none of this, no Loon is giving information and entertainment simultaneously. None of these shows that's doing things that's pivotal in the culture can get that many rappers under their post for nothing in the world. I don't care what they do. They ain't threatened by white boys, and maybe that's what offends me. Right? They'll bring a white boy up on stage, bring him out to the house, whatever. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with white people. What I'm saying is, I think when we see white people, we don't see a threat. And if we looking at this for what it's worth, I think we should, if nothing else fails, if a nigga run off with some money, at least he taking it to a black family. At least somebody black eating off of. The white boy can come get all the information, all the culture, all this and run over to them folks and never holler at us again. And that's a complete loss. But they ain't scared of you can't get posted by these blogs without me spending 50 grand a week or something crazy like that, right? And my shit growing organic, I'm going to just do the organic thing and revolt. Y'all handle whatever. Let's get it going, though. I need it going because I want to be at the top. These blogs won't post you, man. You putting major game down, helping these children, identifying contract disputes or this or that and the third. They won't post you. What they'll rather do is this white boy. Whoa, the white boy. I remember the white girl singing Lil Baby. Yo, all my home girls sang Lil Baby, man. Yeah, post Sharika, man, from the project. Man, she sang Lil Baby, man. Post Ernika. She sang Lil Baby. Man, post some of these, man. All my people, they sang Lil Baby. But it ain't nothing to wild about because we expect you to know, Lil Baby. You want us. But even if that's the case, I think we got to start to amplify us, though. Pay attention to us. For some reason, when white people show up or when people that's not, I'll even stop saying white rapper and say people that's not of our culture. When they show up, it just seems like that we don't see any threat. The evidence, what we've been through, all the shit that been stole from us, we don't see any evidence for a threat. See, I understand something. When the wolf or the lion or one of these things show up in your backyard, the dog better know it ain't there for the dog food. It's there for the dog. Now, the lion jumped the fence or the bear, they would take your puppy, not his food. Right? So what I'm saying is we got to be careful to not let it capture the culture because it's all beats and drums and can be manufactured. Every time Kanye figured out over there, Adidas drops a similar version. Yeah, all they need is a similar version. You understand me? And for us, dog, we got to learn how to preserve. Got to learn how to preserve, man. Big general. Hey, let me speak about Elon Musk not buying Twitter. And I with Elon Musk because, again, he's someone that's giving some of our people access to information. I'm always on the side of allowing our people to elevate, stand next to somebody that's standing next to our people at the very minimum. And when you do that, you get a certain level of respect from me. Knowing his participation, I can't say I know one way or another about nobody. Right? But I do know that I respect a lot of the game these dudes done put down and the people that's been able to navigate through the game with grace. I got to lend a certain level of gratitude to it. So Elon Musk been able to make a lot of money. But what he did to Twitter, I said, I don't like them kind of in the street. See, come off as one of them. See, what he done to Twitter, he come off as one of them call you way over and tell you never mind. Yeah, I hate them. Want to see what he look like, bring me a quarter, but if it's the real, I go on and get a pound. Well, damn, that's a major jump. A quarter from, so I'm supposed to ride with a pound just in case, huh? So basically, for those unaware, Elon Musk put in a bid to buy Twitter. Now he has rescinded that deal and no longer wants to buy Twitter. He calls that they haven't showed him enough information, and that there's a lot of bots on Twitter, and that he's not interested in buying it, because when you buy something like Twitter, what sustains its value is active users, is users, things like that. And so if you're saying that it's bots, those could be conflated into the total of active users, and I can be paying for, in fact, something that holds no value, right? So I just want to break that down. But he was supposed to buy it. I think the ticket was $40-something billion, so it was a big ticket, but now he's taking the offer off the table. But it's a high-level trick. He got all in them folks' business and told them, never mind. It's like telling you, man, pull up on me, man. I need 2 whole ones. You done brought 2 whole ones out the house. Come over there on them. Get over there. Well, nah, never mind, bro. I don't even cook it up for me, man. If it ain't losing, I'm going to buy all of you. Cook it up for him. Then he holler, never mind, bro. It turned out a little yellow. I don't really like that 10 on it. Man, I done showed you my cooking skills. I done showed you how I do it, how to make sure it lock. And then you talking about never mind? Oh, you done stole the game from me. So that's basically what Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a high-level game. He put game down. I remember back in the day, he was tricking folk. Hey, yo, we already got funding. Yeah, we locked in 200, such and such. And come to find out, he didn't have funding, but he needed to say that. And they made him see, but he still sticks to I had funding. He said, I just had to say it to save Tesla's life. So again, he's high-level jujitsu. He one of us. He one of them savvy thinkers, but he made them divvy up everything and show him the ins and outs of Twitter, and then said, never mind. They're going to sue him. They're going to pursue to make him buy it, even though he don't want to buy it. There is a clause in this contract, and if you do your research, see, this podcast is different. We ain't just talking. We one of them dudes dealing with information on this side. It's just a difference in texture. It's just a difference. But there's a loophole, or not a loophole. There's a stipulation in the contract that if anybody walks away from this deal, there's $1 million debt to be paid. I don't think he cares about that, but they don't care about that. They're going to try to make him buy the company for the amount of money that he said that he was going to buy it for. This is high-level business, and that's why we like to talk about it on this side, because once you get to this level, you deal with the SEC, the FCC, all this shit get to happening. It's high-level game, but pay attention, because there could be you up there one day. It's crazy because companies have things like baked into these deals. Like if you go left, then we are secure with $1 million, but $1 million don't mean nothing to him. That's not nothing. And whatever SEC fine or whatever they give him, that don't mean nothing. He's a big dog in regards to money. Now, what I do find interesting and where I think the value lies in this for him, because again, when you got that kind of money, you don't necessarily need to buy a failing company like Twitter. Bro, they got porn on there. Respectfully, the porn, I with all my homegirls that's in the porn industry, but anybody that's allowing porn front street like that just out in the they struggling. Because if they get rid of that, that's a whole big audience that leaves. That means they grasping for audience. I always remember that, but let's move on. What he did was that I said, boy, he playing a street game up there. He went and got all their information. Now what he can do is start his own thing. Because I've been looking at y'all. I know how it run, the ins and outs, this and that. They gave him access to what Twitter has is called a firehouse. It gives him access to, I think, 500 million tweets a day and all the ins and outs of Twitter and how it flags and this and that. He had access to that. And for him to have that level of access and then pull out, they really are offended by that. I want to be clear. I'm sure he'll face some fines. You know, we'll keep our eyes open in regards to what it'll look like for him moving forward. Like, what will you have to do to get out of this, if anything? How is this going to be for you? You know, will they make him buy it? I'm sure he'll be fine, you know. And he has so much money now that I don't think that they can hurt him business-wise. Like, oh, we're not doing business with Elon. Because they'll just go around them, or he'll just take the money, funnel it, filter it through somewhere and still get whatever. Like, that much money is rough to deal with. That's why they're afraid of death when they get to that amount of money. Because now there's a loophole for everything, and the loophole ain't for the rich, it's for the white. It's just so happened that most of the rich is white. You understand? Now, as the black get rich, they don't know the loopholes, but as they get close to the white, they can get some of the loopholes. It's just a game going on. You know what I'm saying? With taxes, with all this shit, There's game happening, man. This is high level game being put down by these boys. Hey, let me say this, man. Me and my team, we are paying for whatever ecosystem that they're using to get the word out that DoorDash is broken. This is a PSA, man. I'm running a high level business. It's up there, podcast, popping podcast, little or people out there, whoever's behind it, reach out to my team over at This Up There podcast. We want to hire whatever. But you know what I think it is, and that's just a joke. But you know what I think it is that it's value in that. And it's immediate value. So that's like a double whammy. Oh, boy, that's tailor-made for this new era. Instant gratification. Something is broken in which you can order something and get it right now. The trick is they didn't know they had to pay for it later. See what I'm saying? But if we can do content, see, my mind goes different. I'm a different kind of. But if we can do our products or whatever it is in that same way and it just hit the ecosystem like boom, bam, 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 to what people start taking effect of it. Like, bro, see, I don't participate in it because I know now that's a broken system. They're going to have to fix something. Somebody figured something out to break that. That wasn't just a glitch in. Somebody did that. If you had to ask me, if I use my conspiracy theory brain. So now there's a glitch in the system. It needs to be fixed. I don't participate in it because, number one, whatever I want, I would have already just bought it anyway. So I don't see but I like to study human behavior in that way. I like to sit back and be like, well, let me see what they doing. Damn, I ain't getting McDonald's and shit. What is that about? Oh, shit, there goes somebody, they ran up 18,000 on a fake cash app. That's good game. You know, I just like to watch human behavior in that way. But whatever ecosystem that is in which they getting that shit off, where like it's going, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yo, this is next level. This is nothing to be played with or nothing to wink at. If we can find a way to tap into that, that's a different kind of bag. It's like I'm so focused on what I'm doing and the goals, right? It's like everything else, I'm hyper paranoid and shit. Right? So it's like it's a weird thing happening. And you know, I was coming down the street. I went to the hood. So I'm driving, I'm minding my business. And my city is becoming a big city. And so now we got them type bombs that's on them type drugs. And I'm not sure if bombs is the right word, but we gonna use bombs because that's what I grew up knowing. But you got them type bombs coming through now that will throw shit at you and hit you and fight you and things of that nature. And so I'm cruising down the street minding my business. And man, I see somebody cock back, throw something, and boom, hit my window. Now here I go, boom, I pull right over. You know, now I pull over, and they run up on the car. He run up on the car and holler, "You want to get a flower girl with your Powerball?" And I look at I said, man, he bugged out. I said, don't do it. But in my mind, I done fell in the trick bag. And this is what I'm only speaking about it because I want somebody to learn from it because I got to learn from these things. He say that, I tell him, I said, don't throw nothing on nobody. Car stupid motherfucker. You know, I'm going off on him. And he reached for my truck and pulled the handle. So I jump out. And I jump out and we get into it real quick, right? And so now he laying on his back. I run back to the car, get in the car. Soon I pull off, I'm thinking, how stupid was that? Now here you is, get out to have a conversation with a man. No matter how prepared you think you are, there could have been a bad situation. He could have made his mind up that morning. Because see, now you're dealing with people that make their mind up prior to running into you. You just another number on the list, right? So they say, I'm throwing stuff at cars all day. The first person pull over, I'm blowing their head off. Because he didn't have a reason to throw. He didn't know me. He didn't know. And I would tell him my old lady, I fell in the trick bag. Like, now you don't never fall in the trick bag. You don't put yourself in a situation where you done pulled over by something that, especially me in this situation, millions of dollars on the line. Nah, I don't do that no more. And so I got to become patient with myself. But I'm like, I almost feel like in my life right now, I feel like driving on the interstate. Even though it's normal, All your senses are heightened when you're driving at 80 miles an hour. I don't care who you think you is. 70 miles an hour, your senses are heightened. You understand? And just as I transition and making sure that I capitalize each and every way that I need to do, I'm heightened senses right now. Let's talk about Creflo Dollar. For those of you who are unaware, Creflo Dollar, who's been notoriously known for being at the forefront of getting donations, gifts, donations sent to him, and having a congregation that was involved with a certain lifestyle that may or may not have been funded by the church's income. The effect of some of the things that he was preaching caused people to go into financial hardship. But being faithful to the word, they figured they would head to what we know to be as heaven. I look at all preachers a certain way outside of T.D. Jakes. He's the best one out of everybody ever in the world, and he's the one that I believe in and I stand by. The concept of church, though, I view with a certain lens. No disrespect to anyone. I just know God is real. I'm just not sure he has a secretary. They ain't convinced me yet that the Lord has a secretary. So, again, all preachers, I look at them with a side eye, except T.D. Jakes. I got a certain love. I'm biased when it come to him. But the concept of giving what you ain't even received, giving what you can't sustain, I've always viewed that a certain way, and they use fear tactics that if you get some money and you don't give some money to the church, then you put yourself in. Now, I believe in one hand, wash the other, both wash the face. But when you taking this money and what are we seeing you doing with it, I can understand a little bitty church that need the lights on, but sometimes you get to a point where now you got 14,000 members, everybody giving something. Your bills is well paid for. Matter of fact, you own the building. But something as complex as religion, although I, again, stand firm in God is real, and I stand with that, stand by that, and I've bear witness to that. But learning something that was used or could have been used against us prior to us coming into understanding of how people use words and things of that nature, I think we need to be very careful on how we adopt those things. I think it's important to know this is not a fast break, understanding something like this. You know how fast break happen real quick. You go boom, bam, bam, 2 points up, back on defense, y'all. Now, this is a well-designed play we got to run to understand what religion really is, right? Very complex being, what we are as humans, right? So I want to let y'all hear Creflo Dollar coming out to denounce what he's preached for so long, and then we'll come back with some gang.
And that the teachings that I've shared in times past on the subject of tithing were not correct. And today I stand in humility to correct some things that I've taught for years and believed for years, but could never understand it clearly because I had not yet been confronted with the gospel of grace, which has made the difference. I won't apologize, because if it wasn't for me going down that route, I would have never ended up where I am right now. But I will say that I have no shame at all at saying to you, throw away every book, every tape, and every video I ever did on the subject of tithing. So why is this important? Because religion is sustained by two factors: fear and guilt.
So you hear him, and then he goes on to do what he calls corrective preaching, where he unravels what he's tied up, where he's taking down what he's taped up. Right? That's why I tell you this history that we have, or this ability that we have in America, to be able to say, hey, yo, we did that for 40 years and we were wrong. We're going to rethink that. Right? And that's why sometimes, man, it's important just to have longitude. Understand where you at. The preacher thing has always, again, been a weird one to me, except for TD Jakes. Again, I like TD Jakes a whole lot. How can you tell me to give what I don't have? And then you say God is going to give me more than I've ever wished for. So abundance is nil. But God, I don't have nothing. And he's telling me to give what I don't got, to start off with more than I had when I didn't have to begin with. It's a fucked up business plan. We adopted, though, because of the fear. Right? We want to be honorable to God. We want to stand by the word and do what's right in the eyes of God. And we always going to do that, and I think that's the right thing to do. I want to be clear with my audience that I believe the right thing to do is stay close to God. Again, I just have something in me that says I'm not sure he has a secretary. Some of the secretaries is where I'm thinking is a disconnect for me, although I respect the word in such a way where I can receive it from anyone. But when you taking the Mosaic law out of context, you presenting it in a way that's confusing to people that have limited to no understanding of the ins and outs of that word, it makes me view the other words. Like, again, I always look at preachers as speakers. I look at everybody as speakers. I don't know, I got a weird way of looking at life in that way. So I tend to view people as speakers, right? And I look at them that way, and I see certain things from them that makes me proud, the setups to certain things, right? But some people, if you can touch me, you cutting through high weeds, man. And it's only a few of them that can touch me. Some of them, I see where they going. It's right? Or just my style. I just say my style of preaching, right? And so I just don't think we would adopt that business model for anything else but tithing. Like, yo, give me 10% of everything you got, and just know and trust it's going to the right place. Me personally, I think churches done put some of the best game down ever known to man. The ability to get as big as they can get. They can get humongous. They can have multiple buildings in multiple states and not pay taxes. Them dudes is killing it. Respectfully, I'm just saying from a business perspective, because when we drill it down, it started off as the word of God, but then it started to get really big to where now this is a business. And if we don't run it as such, we'll be doing ourselves a disservice along with the people that we could touch. So I definitely get it. I just wanted to be clear what we dealing with. Like, and the tax thing is so important to business, so important to spending. It's a very important thing when you're spending a whole bunch of money and them taxes come up missing. That's a very important thing. And the religion people are the only people that got that. I think within the next 50 to 100 years, that's going to be a very, very important factor. The fact that there's no taxes being paid under that religious umbrella. Just pay attention in the next 50 years, maybe even shorter than that. But there's going to be something going on there, because that makes them really powerful. You know, shout out to Creflo and whatever he got going on. Again, I'm saying more so than anything that people that's teaching, again, people that listen to me or think I'm teaching or whatever y'all think I'm doing, I'm just giving conversation out. You know what I'm saying? It's education if you learn from it, if it's entertainment if you don't. It's information if you get something from it, it's entertainment if you don't. You know, but we ain't forcing nothing on nobody, or we ain't saying that you got to do this or you gon', you know, this law says that you will reap what you like now, you know. And so everybody, you know, I'm starting to buy into the whole languages. I always talked about communication is a hell of a thing. Communication is the most important thing, if you ask me. I started that narrative in the culture. It's about communication. It's about language. It's about understanding. You ask me, yo, Loon, what I need? Communication and vision. Them two things right there, you're going to be all right, and then don't get caught up in asking people to see your vision. Sometimes you're dealing with people that lack vision. They don't seem to have vision. They don't even have vision for themselves. They can't see your vision, nigga. They don't see it in them. How they going to see it in you? Right? And then that's why I applaud black dudes that get out the mud. We first generation millionaires. If you're a first generation millionaire, that's a different thing. And you got to put a fence around it. Old first generation millionaire can't play the same game y'all play, so y'all looking at it different. Y'all don't know what it's like. done just broke the barriers and they want to live a certain way, not understanding I got to put a fence around it. You look over history and you see the power working together. The computer wasn't shit without the spreadsheet. Business couldn't do nothing with the computer without the spreadsheet. So again, it wasn't the computer by itself that revolutionized what we know as e-commerce. It was the spreadsheet. But if you don't know that, you would think the computer by itself was all that. Even with the internet and the computer, that's one thing, but there wasn't none for business, what runs everything. There wasn't none till you was able to get encryption. See, I'm just learning. These things is also, so it's working together that make it okay. Put it together, what make it and that's why when I see black men come together outside the ghetto that's trying to level up, I can't see nothing. Nigga, that's like, yeah, nigga, that's big business. That's big business when you asking me. Black dudes coming together to chop game about business, elevation, and evolving. You gonna tell me that ain't the highest level of understanding y'all do? For me, I hate that we get caught up in that we did this little famous trick on the world and it make us unworkable for our people. Some of these need to be worked with. Some of these brands need to work together. You understand? We dealing with understanding that one of these is the computer and one of these is the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet ain't shit without the computer and the computer can't help the business without the spreadsheet. We got to understand working together in that way. If we don't, we setting ourselves up to be strong independently and be weaker than we should be. I see the young trying to evolve, feel away. I congratulate that. You know, but if something is weird, it's weird. But I can't speak on what I ain't been called to. And then we first generation millionaires. We searching for information. Know what I mean? We out here looking for information, man. So it's like we babies in this financial space. Right? In regards to generational curses, we're babies, we're tiny, so we're trying to grow up in that space so that we can have babies in that space. And sometimes you don't know what's possible till you get by somebody that made it possible or by somebody that is currently going through it, right? You get next to a dude on a team like, nigga, on the team. Like, he's swift. I like him, but man, I'm a little more swifter than him when I go to thinking about it. You know, you know, whether you right or wrong, it give you that certain level of, man, this shit is really attainable. Like, that's why I be wondering, like, yo, you see somebody putting major game down, yo, hip him up. He one of them, hip him up. Ain't no telling who he can help. But I'm also noticing that seeing is believing. You know, you got to see it to believe it. At least I do, right? And then I understand the baby don't want to walk because I think the baby want to walk because they see everybody else walking. Yeah, if everybody were crawling, the baby probably would be cool crawling. If he were born in a world where the whole world was crawling, but the idea I see people walking. Nah, it's people walking. I can get up, can't I? When can I do that? I think I see what's possible. Now I'm holding on to, I see what's possible now. And I think as you get closer to people that's doing good business, clean business, making money in the business, doing it the right way, elevating, and take in mind, everybody don't deserve to be elevated either. I want to be clear with that because you can get blurry. Like, my message is help everything up. You go broke helping everything up. I want to be clear with that too. This high level understanding. And so it's about seeing what's possible. I seen there was a fad where all the rappers start putting their money in watches. A lot of you thought it was about styling and profiling like Ric Flair. Nah, it was that's an asset. They hold its value. It's damn near like washing money. It's damn near like sitting money over here to the side. You buy some watches, it put you in a situation, and now I got something that holds its value. And as you elevate and as you get financially stable and financially literate, you understand that you understand what to do with money. You understand money as a tool. And that's our problem. A lot of us become consumers no matter how much money we get. I had to tell somebody, I need not dump money in your hand. You have a consumer mindset. I need to place you in a comfortable situation and provide you a lifestyle that you cannot interrupt. That'll be the best decision for me as somebody that loves you because you are a consumer at heart. No matter how much money you get, you will just spend it and spend. You don't have the education at this time and point to put something in place to sustain itself and to make money. You just don't have that type of you will Amazon every day, and you will buy something every week, and you will get something every month, and you will go somewhere every day. You into that money dwindles away, and this is just unfortunate reality that we have to deal with. But as you come financially literate and get around guys that have the money, you ever heard a saying that saying that TDJ said that only the poor people dress rich? It's important to identify that, and I'm not sure we understand that, because there's no value in the clothes. You're dealing with a very low amount of value in my fashion, because all my value is in my assets. So a long story short, people with money teach you what to do with money, the same way someone that has a baby can teach you about rocking them to sleep, or someone that has a pet can teach you about raising a dog. A lot of times the experience is the best teacher, and so we lean to the people that understand the things that we are into to try to get some level of comfortability for us to proceed as we are comfortable doing. And so as you get around the millionaires or the multi-millionaires, the billionaires, the people that's been able to conquer whatever space they've been able to conquer, they teach you what to do with money. See, people with money can teach you what to do with money. You got to keep telling people it's about staying power. It ain't about getting rich. It's about staying rich. That's a constant message that I give my people. Got to have staying power, beloved. It's the biggest thing you got to have. Don't let them trick you into buying. It's a get rich quick scheme. Now, how we going to stay and sustain in the market? Very important factor in staying rich. But they teach you what to do with money. You no longer are focused on some of those things. You say, oh, so I spent that amount of money on wardrobe, and now I can write it off, but I could have spent that. Could have been another building. What you telling me? Yeah, man, if you would have framed it this way, right? So there's information involved in it, and they teach you what to do with it. And as you go up, you learn that old saying, a fool and his money will soon part ways. He'll make some bad decisions. See, you don't understand how to sustain. It's about staying power. See, when you buy what you don't need, you steal from yourself. It's like robbing yourself. So you that's your 95th chain. I know the tax man told you got to dump some money off. You can't find nothing else to do. They ain't told you that again, man, like consulting fees is on deck. But what I'm saying is understanding this game is so imperative, dog. Go up there at 4,000 reserve with a cease and desist from Gap for his hoodie. And I only want to speak about it because a cease and desist doesn't mean you're necessarily in trouble. It's basically saying that we will take you to court if you continue to do whatever it is that you're doing. We'll get a little bit into the t-shirt business and all of that, but let's listen to what he said. It's just a quick clip.
I got hit with a cease and desist letter from Gap Inc. They claim I stole their logo from my recent merch drop. My logo looks nothing like Gap.
This don't even look like your hoodie. It's a whole different hoodie. I'm not ceasing shit.
So the reason I wanted to speak about that is because I see what, like on Amazon, you got a lot of Batman type shirts, Walmart.com. A lot of these sites got a lot of, even Wu-Tang, Drake, a lot of these shirts, Lil Baby necklaces and shit. Like, so a lot of people are selling unauthorized things. And so sometimes I be watching like how they react to those things. I'm not sure if they go after it. Maybe they do. It's a hard market to make it into, though. That's why I say if you make it in that market, I give you a certain salute, because that's a hard market to break into, that t-shirt market, because it's fleeing. It's fleeing. You might stock up on this kind of shirt and they just get off that kind of shirt. It's over. You know what I'm saying? That a profit you were making to begin with may sustain you if you do it the right way. But again, overhead, when you deal with certain things, like everybody been in the house, and like it's a weird business, clothing is. Like you may see a Bass Pro Shop, but it may say something different, or I've seen the Seinfeld shirt say something different. Certain little things saying different things that niggas remake, and it's good game, and it's familiarity. People know that brand, they know that, and then they see your brand. That's a cool flip you did there. Yeah, I'll buy that shirt. Sometimes that works, but it can get you in trouble. And this is not legal advice or advice to do anything that you shouldn't be doing, or put any trademarks on your brands that you don't own. I want to be clear on that too, as I'm not trying to be held legally entitled to anything or anybody doing anything that I didn't advise. So that is not legal advice in any way, shape, form, or advice in that matter. See, in my opinion, you judge a by who got money out for them. Now, who got money with them? Who got money off for them? Because a lot of niggas that ain't with me got money off of me. Provided lanes for, right? So they able to get money off of, not that they get money with them. It's a difference, but understanding the cause and effect, right, is probably influential in you getting some money. So if you miss that, you probably ain't with that, and that speaks to you. But I judge a nigga who got money off you. You know, all that talking, all that what you did for yourself, it go out the window. You know, it's about who you help get out the water, especially when all us drowning, right? I pray that my words help and I'm able to lead in a different way, and so far, so good, but I got to try to stay in that pocket. But one thing I got to know is I got to work. I got a lot of work to do. Never, ever, ever, ever let it down. Never let it down. Never put it down. Keep it going. And that's what I'm trying to do. And also, if you putting the kind of game down, you get money off the game you putting down. You understand? If you've been able to lead out the tunnel, lead out the way. You know, my job is to try to live in between lead out the way and entertaining them half the time. See, I understand it's a very thin line that I told when it come to that, right? So I'm trying to build in that space, and people need to understand how tedious that is, how hard that is for someone, right? I think I make it look easy because I've studied so much and been able to put together a sort of style or approach to doing it. But bro, when it comes to something that you chasing, you got to work hard. And you can't be afraid to invest in yourself. And one thing I learned along the way is that you really got to put the money in. You know, when I first started podcasting, I would tell myself, man, not with my own money, man. If I can find a couple of people to take a little pressure off me, man, it's a, you know, because it's rough, like moving around the country, buying equipment, like, but, you know, I'm like, yo, do it all yourself. What you don't understand is, say you got to buy some equipment, say you got to put some shit in the studio, or you need a camera or something, you buy the cheapest one. What you doing is you robbing yourself, because you're going to have to buy another one. You're going to be able to work for a little while, get you a little while. You might as well save up and get the big joint or the joint you need, or at least the joint that's industry standard that'll last you a little while where you can get some work out of it. But let's look at Nipsey Hussle trial. This was an interesting thing. For those of you unaware, Eric Holder has been on trial for the death of Nipsey Hussle. His trial ended in a conviction of murder. In the trial, though, we're going to deal with the closing arguments. But in the trial, there was a very bizarre approach to trying to explain gang politics and snitching. It's almost like, again, that's why I tell people, man, you better be careful fucking with this crime shit. Your lawyer sell you out and frame it in a way like, nah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell him about that snitch thing. Boy, you know that don't work in there. I don't give a fuck what you say in the courtroom. You talking about some snitch shit. That shit don't work. And so as I heard him speak about it, and I heard kind of people report on it, I never really touched it because I'm just watching it. But people were reporting that he gonna wiggle out, and I'm like, yo, the court don't respect street rules. Like, when I think about it, yo, the court don't respect street rules. I don't care what you talking about, man. Well, he's a part of the 60s and all that. If my lawyer was in there, I'd probably be like, oh, he's selling me out. That ain't no defense in court. Like, or maybe out there it is, I don't know, but down here somewhere, like, just my understanding is you need some words that they can operate under. Like, that all that don't register, home. And so his lawyers, and the case was also trying to be framed as it was a crime of passion, you know, that he kind of felt like he was called a name and just he went off, because that's like, you know, that was disrespectful. And so they painted it that way until the young lady testified. She was granted immunity and was able to testify that another conversation was had, and that she wouldn't suspected that would have happened. But there was some kind of snitch conversation they had. We're going to look at a little bit of that video and then we'll come back.
How many times did you hear Eric say something to Nipsey about snitching? Brianita. It was a lot of times. I don't know the number, but it was like multiple times. Like, he was saying it back to back. All right, so this is something that Eric took seriously. It wasn't just like these are just rumors. They go all over the community. This isn't something you have to worry about. Mr. Holder took this very seriously when Nipsey Hussle was accusing him of being a snitch in this matter in public. Ms. Nicholson also told us about the tone and tenor of the conversation and the people having this conversation about snitching. She said that there was tension many times throughout her interview. She said Mr. Holder's demeanor was aggressive. He was messy. He was trying to get clarification. Nipsey's demeanor was irritated, was trying to brush him off. Was like, this guy needs to go somewhere. Most of us would call that being dismissive.
And stuff, and then,
You know what they were talking about?
he was saying a lot of cuz.
Who was?
Eric.
Can you hear what they were saying?
I didn't really like kind of understand it, like what he was talking about, but I know like to tell from the tension from Nipsey, like he didn't really want to talk to him, like trying to like, you know, like get to me, like to take the picture or whatever, like trying to wait till he stopped talking.
You know why he wouldn't want to talk to me?
Because I guess the way he was just like, cuz, hey, you ever snitched on somebody, cuz this, cuz that.
That's what Nipsey was saying?
That's what Eric was saying. Nipsey wasn't like saying nothing, he was just like, nah, you know, nah, like that, you know.
Did it sound like Eric was accusing him of snitching?
To me, it sounded like, kind of like he was trying to be a little messy.
Oh.
You know, like, I wasn't kind of like getting into it, but you know, because I'm not the messy type, I'm just like kind of like listening, but I'm just like, okay, like, what is he talking about? Like, to myself though. And then, but I can tell, like, by looking at Nipsey, or whatever, because, you know, I'm waiting to take the picture, like, he looking like, you know, he need to go on somewhere. That's how I got the impression.
Nipsey gave him no details, no names, no cases, no descriptions. So from a reasonable person's point of view in these circumstances, how are they supposed to address it, right? You're supposed to go and get your paperwork and show everybody that you were not snitching. But in this case, there is no paperwork. You don't even know what he's accusing you of doing or who you were supposed to have snitched against. So how are you going to go get some paperwork when this unfounded accusation is against you? How are you going to clear your name? How are you going to clear your reputation? There's no way to do it. He knows he hasn't snitched. There's no paperwork for him to get. He had the one case in 2012, which was 7 years ago. So what is Nipsey Hussle talking about? Then, when Eric presses for details, Nipsey gets irritated and brushes him off and said, this guy needs to go somewhere. That was according to Ms. Nicholson's testimony.
Again, very bizarre approach.
So a reasonable person in those circumstances may conclude, this is just Nipsey Hussle calling me a snitch. I know there's no paperwork out there. He's not.
Yo, I want y'all to understand something. Your lawyer got different packages. Yeah. Your lawyer word ain't no good till it's paid for. Your lawyer got different packages, man. When your lawyer drop out, see, sometimes you pay for the little simple package. Sometimes you pay for the complex package. When you listen to them trying to explain street rules in the courtroom, to me, they tanking that. To me, that's like not a defense. That's falling on deaf ears. You speaking about, you calling him a snitch and the paperwork. And if you show a reasonable person to show their paperwork, that's not even a thing. That ain't even that's falling on deaf ears in the courtroom. Unless something different out there that I don't know about, but that don't work. Like, that's falling on deaf ears. And so, that was kind of, I don't know, but he ended up being convicted. He ain't been set for trial yet. R.I.P. Nipsey. Nipsey is a legend in the game. We know that. We respect that on this side. Big energy he gave the game. I know people talk about Cowboy. We trying to reach out to Cowboy. Get him on the show. You know what I mean? Talk to him about what people are saying. So we just been working, man. Working hard at this and trying to stay above the water. You know what I mean? Brittney Griner is one of the most famous female athletes out there. She's now in custody in Russia. over being caught with some vape pens entering in the country. Of course, in Russia, they don't allow that kind of contraband in their country. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate situation. I've been trying to be loud about her not being able to get the kind of media coverage that I would think would be favorable. But when I think about it and I zoom out, as much as I want us to be loud about it, as much as I talk about it, as much as I think a lot of people care about it, in all actuality, when you really think about it, she's a political prisoner. Russia just invaded Ukraine. We kind of put our nose in the business in which he threatened some things. And so now we got somebody in custody over there. Now they want an arms dealer. They got 25 years for exchange of her. And she may have to do them 10 years if not. She ended up pleading guilty. She pled guilty and could face up to 10 years. And then she wrote a letter to the judge. And the letter to the judge wrote and said, and I felt bad and I feel real sorry for her. The letter to the judge said that, you know, she didn't mean to break any rules and she didn't try to violate anything. She just forgot on her way over here. And man, I swear to God, I feel her on that. And at the same time, I said, I know that don't work. That's that American shit. You can watch a man dig a hole and you'll beg the entire time. Please don't put me in the hole. Please don't put me in the hole. He's steady digging. Please don't put me in the hole. Please don't put me in the holes. It's just us, the Americans that got that kind of thing. They think that at some point, Lord, sympathy coming. You know, and unfortunately, that's all she got left over there. And I can definitely understand that. So I'm not shaming her or putting any fault on her because all she got left is sympathy. Here I am, a political prisoner, ain't got nothing to do with what's really going on. I done got caught with something that's harmless enough for one person, if that much. You know what I'm saying? And it's like now we put y'all in a situation of give me 10 years about that and try to exchange me for an arms dealer. Boy, y'all playing a different kind of game. And I want her to come home, and I think it's unfair what's happening. I think that it's bigger than her. You know, as I said, I think it's more of a political thing. I think the move is political. And at this point, she just falling victim to it. And man, I promise you, I hate it for her. You know, I also don't like, though, in respect to her family, and respect to the game, I don't like how they always throw LeBron up. You know, and we can't keep pitting each other against each other. I understand the example that they was trying to make, but the statement that was said was that she didn't get saved like Brittney. I mean, if it was LeBron, they would have already done something. And man, that's an unfortunate statement right there, man. That's an unfair statement, and not from the standpoint of one person's life is better than the other, but it's just that's a slippery one, man. Man, that's unfortunate that we gotta always throw LeBron under the bus like that too. Soon if it wasn't LeBron, if it was LeBron, it had LeBron. That's unfortunate they be bringing dude name of every little thing that happened. Well, if it ain't LeBron, well, they ain't LeBron. Well, he ain't do it. Well, LeBron ain't do it. Well, LeBron couldn't do it. Well, they didn't say nothing when LeBron did it or LeBron. I'd be like, yo, man, he can't even chill. I felt what, man, son, that boy, that high level, I'm telling you, when you get super mega famous, boy, you trade in your secrets, boy. You can't but tell but one or two people what's happening when you get mega famous. I feel for it, man, and I hate how they throw LeBron in. What I can say is LeBron is the whole loaf. Yeah, LeBron is the whole bakery. He done made a lot of people a lot of money, man. Unfortunate for the way America is set up, man. It just places a certain value on him that's undeniable. And we all know one piece of bread ain't no loaf, but he the whole bakery when we go to talking about who made what in the NBA along the last 10, 12, 15 years. If we go to talking numbers, we talking high level. So I think we got to even look at it and respect it for that. Not that. And it's unfortunate. I'm telling you, it's such an unfortunate thing that she's in that situation, bro. For me, I just hate that we throw each other in. And why we couldn't have said a white person or not, you know, respectfully to them or some other athlete. Like, why it got to be LeBron? You know what I'm saying? Let LeBron try to stay squeaky clean and run up a B or two. Let me shake a little bit of these fleas off, man. Let me try to get a little big in a two and squeaky clean for a minute. Let me speak about this. Boosie and Young Blue getting into it. Boosie hasn't responded, but I think Boosie said something on Vlad TV. We got the clip, of course. They send us everything. They want us to talk about it. I can hope to find some information in it, but we gonna bring it in to y'all. What has happened is that Vlad and Boosie do these interviews in which Boosie talks about random things, current events, things like that, and he brought up Young Blue. And so Young Blue ended up responding to what was brought up. A lot of people haven't heard the clip. We have the clip here on this Up There podcast, and I'll play it. So give me just a moment.
You know what I'm saying? You're the one that introduced me to Blue to begin with.
So, bro, I do good, bro. Bro, like he could.
And you do, as someone who's done business with you for years and a lot of money has changed.
And you got to understand, I'm the CEO. I mean, you're my top artist. Anybody you would have brought to the table, I would have been willing to talk to.
Right.
Anybody you want to talk to, I'm willing to talk to. I ain't gonna get more money because I'm talking. But to X me out, you know, it doesn't go like that, bro, you know. And all the parties involved, everybody was in cahoots and everybody knew what was going on, you know. Everybody knew what was going on, bro, and I was done wrong. And around where I'm pissed off, I was done wrong while I was shot in a wheelchair.
That's when it happened.
In a wheelchair. That's why that's why.
Oh, they thought maybe you were just out of here and was
went far, did all this stuff when I was in a wheelchair. And that's what really pissed me off about the situation. I would have took Blue to any label and tried to get him, but they did all this when I was in a wheelchair. And you bring me 100,000 like you doing.
Ooh, that's big business. So let me put some context on it. What he's saying is at some point in time, and that's a bad time. I hate that. It's a bad time for a cash in when a might not make it. That's a rough one, right? I keep telling y'all they do real bad, but I got no dog in the fight. We looking for information and evolving the culture. When I speak on things, I want to send a shout out to Blue and Boosie. I need people to understand, although we meet and we cool and we start to vibe with each other, I still speak on these topics with information at the top of the forefront. Me doing my job and providing the game shouldn't dissolve a relationship, but if it does, I know you don't want to see me with no money. Don't nobody bring me no bags. I done made every dollar I done made off my back, sweat, blood, and tears, and not everything involved. But let's move on. What Boosie is saying is, man, when he was in the wheelchair, I think what had happened, if you pay attention, Blue and Drake had that song. I think Blue had just dropped that song when Boosie had got shot. Or maybe before, but it had just took off. Like, I think Drake may have popped on it right after Boosie got shot or right before, and it just got legs and took off. So they went and cashed in on the deal. You see how you can't blame it on him, but you still can't respect it either, because it's like your man might not make it. They say your man might get cut up. You know, you probably supposed to consider that, but you say, damn, you can't stop your vibe. Your vibe is your vibe. It's thinking about all those things. And so Boosie's saying, yo, you went and got a deal in, and I kind of blessed you in. Now Blue is saying, yo, you didn't really bless me in, bro. I spent all my money. You kind of co-signed me, and I never spoke on you. Let's read what Blue said, matter of fact. Tweet from Young Blue. Vlad, you got your wish, bro. You been building and shit with me and Boosie for 5 interviews straight after we constantly told you the love we had for each other. You got what you wanted, white man. Some black man going at it. Then he responded. I put millions in myself, investments. Why would I let a take millions from me? I tried to make millions with you and you ignored my vision. Treated me like a dog. Came through every time you needed me. I reopened your brand all over the world on national TV. No, I repped. That's what he trying to say. I repped your brand all over the world, all on national TV, every interview, every show. Can't believe you keep shitting on me in these interviews like you ever spent $1 on me, like you ever gave anything when I signed. Not $1, bro. Never paid one video, not one marketing plan. I never told the world that. I always give you praise, but you shit on me in interviews, man. And I'm going to try to give both sides. So first, you know, like I'm dealing with Young Blue side right now. There's a term you need in this business, and it's not just somebody to sign to, somebody to say you with, somebody to say you did it with. You need supportive partnerships. Yeah, you just don't need any old partner, any old chip off the block. You need supportive situations, people that believe in the vision. There ain't nobody wasting nobody's time. Let's get some money. Let's activate. Let's launch. Let's put it in position. Let's not play with it. But sometimes you get in a situation where people are just looking to run to the boardroom with a bunch of numbers. And when you deal with them people, you get caught in a loop. And oftentimes, if your talent can't carry the whole load, you may be in trouble. So when you start off in mind, you know if you get in that situation, you may got to carry the load until you break off. But be prepared to may have to carry the load, right? Or take the other route where it may be darker, may take longer, but you still gonna get it. Either way, do it and do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Get it done now. Yesterday is lost, tomorrow can be captured. Think with that in mind. Do that shit today. But it's rough signing to somebody like, and even feeling like that, because I don't know whether or not that's the case, because knowing is participation. So I don't know whether that's the case. But when you feel like that, like, damn, bro, I signed to you thinking we were going to do something. Y'all ain't put a dollar in me, ain't put me nowhere. I'm still toting the note and y'all going to eat off of it. How that work? Like, that's how you kill the morale of the creator, them to the side. Let me speak to the people that's working with creators. Invest in them. Push them. Help them understand their value. Y'all got the morale of the creators in the toilet and wonder why they can't keep up with nothing and come up with nothing. Thankful for me, I come in sustaining my own life. So I got a certain level of happiness, something to live for, people that love me, people that love to hear from me, speak to me, be around me, proud of coming into this little industry. So I don't get nothing from it. I ain't as good as they say or as bad as they say. I got that from Charlemagne. You just are. And one thing we are going to do is keep working. But let's look at this. Blue says he signed with Boosie and he didn't get anything. I don't know. I'm not sure if they did any records. I'm not paying attention. I know Blue came in on fire. Blue came in doing I ain't gonna say on fire. Of course, we know he wasn't on fire, but he came in with a sound at the right time when singing was a thing. Just at the right little time. Gates jumped on that Ice on My Baby. It was just a vibe. You know, somebody was investing and he's saying it was him. And so he bared the fruits of his labor. I can also see not like being like, yo, I don't want you to eat off of what you didn't put nothing into. But a dude got you on paperwork. You can't whoop that paperwork. One thing about that paperwork, you can't whoop it. But sometimes I was telling my people in my family, sometimes you get with a partner, or you get with somebody, or you do these partnerships because you frame things, you structure things, you put a goal in place, right? And I tell people, I tell my partners that a goal without a deadline ain't but a wish. Let's put a deadline on some of this. When we gonna spend it, how much we gonna spend, and how many I need to put in. Let's put a deadline on this because a goal without a deadline ain't nothing but a wish, and I ain't in the wishful thinking, right? But in Boosie position, you tell yourself, hey man, I'm over here shot up. Y'all done went and got $5 million and gave me 100 racks. You were my artist on paper. I ain't talking about what you were my artist on paper. Now, I think they got paper. If they don't got paper, I think it was understood. And a lot of times, you know, I'm not sure how far that verbal contract goes, but I do think it was understood because he had verbally said it. See, even that in court, if he had taken that, if it had went that route and they went to court, yo, you stated you his artist several times. So out of your own admission and mouth, without him there in the present, he could have maybe proved that if he went that route, but he didn't. But as I'm shot, don't bring me no news about my workhorse that I done lost my biggest figure. Don't do that while I'm shot, please. You understand? So maybe that's how he was feeling. I hate to see them get into it. You know, Vlad didn't respond to him in the same way that he did in the Elite Chopper. There's something to be said about that too. And I don't dislike Vlad. I look at Vlad for what he is, a person that capitalized on the moment. See, I don't look at these dudes like geniuses like all the rest of these people. There's a few of them I get at genius too. Some of them was just first and some of them just played a trick. It was a trick. I ain't really looking at them. You know, I respect them now. I respect their hustle, but what I'm saying is the fame don't get me. Even if, you know, once I settle in and settle down, that fame don't do it for me. I'm looking for information and intellect. I respect those guys that respect those guys that did it before them and how they done it. That's the part they leave out, the how they done it. A lot of y'all respect them for what they did. I respect them for how they did it. There's a different thing happening. Although they can be viewed the same, I see how it can be confusing. But we looking at things different. When you've been putting game down so long as me and you've studied the game, there's very little they can get by you, around you. You understand these dudes. I know what went into the hot dog. I f with this. This is what I do, right? I put a lot of time in understanding it because I thought it was real. I thought these dudes was really hustlers. They was really looking out for the real ones. It was really about the business. They was really gonna respect it when I push up like this. I was thinking that, and I've been unfortunately surprised that some of them are, but most of them aren't. And I ain't gonna take it away. I understand the 10x the number when the time is right. The coach is reacting, homie. Ain't nothing nobody can do about it. As long as I stay out of jail, I stay free, and I stay in a position where my family love me, and I stay learning, and my vibrations is high, I can break this curse that we've been having where we ain't really done nothing. I was telling my people the other day, man, if I be serious and honest to myself, I ain't never really done anything that's positive and valuable, right? All the things I've done, like even the other, because there's another side of my life, a story that I'm going to speak about at some point, and I don't want to introduce it yet. It's not time. But I did a lot of things over there that that doesn't really fulfill me. I didn't give my mother really anything that she can really look at and be proud of. And with this, I'm able to say, yo, mom, look, the world screaming this stuff, man. I ain't did nothing wrong to get it. These people love this stuff, man. They support this. Look at this, man. Look at these rappers, all these people on TV, all these people, they reaching out to your son, man. That's really what this be about, to tell my old lady, my kids, look, you be listening to him. He like your daddy. On God, that's what I don't care nothing about, really nothing else. I just want to afford them people a life that they never dreamed of. I get mine. I could have got mine out the street. I can get mine, but I know, and then now as I'm learning that, yo, what you saying, how you saying it is affecting people. They starting to activate and like, yo, bro, I done went back to the 11th episode, man. Like, yo, bro, every day I'm just like, thank you, God. Just keep moving, but don't get complacent and get the information. Don't be cheap about it. But when you've been putting game down as long as I have, you got a certain viewpoint, a certain understanding, a certain lens you view it through. I always tell people it's a difference between learning and understanding. We can both sit in the classroom. You learned something, I understood it. Yeah, you learned something, I understood it. It's a difference. I understand the game. You just in the game, so you will never be able to wear my shoes, but I can put yours on. I can hoop in yours and run in yours. You put mine on, they too heavy, you will never move. But that's another situation. Let's talk about Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti just signed GloRilla, girl that has the F&N song, free song, where she just going off on about how she free. I was talking to my old lady the other day. I said, you know what? This song ain't about really what she's saying. The part that's getting people is the let's go, all that. That's what's getting folks. Because that's what got me, and I don't listen to that, and I've never listened to it myself, but as I've heard it, I said, that's what's getting it. That's what's killing it. But that's a nice song, and it had a certain level of traction. I want to dispute the people that said that she was already signed and now he just kind of announced it. That's not what happened with her. I think she got enough interest and then he came in. What I see happening is God is preparing for either Bag to leave or for re-ing up for Bag, or he's just gearing up over there, whatever that is, and he's making some real good business decisions. I'm watching Bag because I know Bag is coming up on trying to do whatever it is that he is doing next. But the young girl, GloRilla, I think this was a good move for her. CMG has a roster that'll do her great justice. It instantly puts her in a position to touch the dudes, right? For them to at least hear her point of view and her perspective 100%. All of them. Every little type of dude fan base got you plugged right in. Also, what it does is, this is why I said it's interesting for Gotti. It's something you saw QC do a while ago when he did the City Girl thing, is introduce your brand or your whole thing to the female audience. That was something I was waiting on Gotti to do. I'm wondering, you ain't really introduced it to the female side of it. And so getting her instantly puts you in a position of, well, all right, this is the female side of CMG. Let's put her in position and rock her out and make her. And her being the first girl, she's going to get treated good. She's going to be all right over there. Some people like, yo, she got signed from one song. I don't give a f how many songs you got. You don't get signed by your songs. You get signed by the performance of your songs. So if you got 30 seconds that's doing hella numbers, you can get signed. But if you got 9,000 hours worth of music out and ain't nobody listening to it, ain't got no performance behind it, ain't nothing happening. So let's be clear that you don't get signed from your songs. You get signed from the performance of your songs, whether that's on any platform. If it's doing good enough and it catch the ear of somebody in position, you potentially can get on. Past that, this young girl's song was doing well in regards to numbers everywhere. The women had took that as the anthem. Comics had took it. It was started to creep in areas very quickly. It took a boom very quickly. And she was starting to get booked and all of that. What I do know, though, someone was involved because it kind of hit the blogs all at once. You know, it's just black men, they don't give that luxury. They give, sometimes if a black girl going ratchet, she do something ratchet, them blogs, you everywhere. So she dropped that effing in, and that shit was on all the blogs. Either that was orchestrated and paid for, or it was organic. Either way, I'm proud and happy of Beloved getting her a bag. She went and got her a bag. Not even 24 hours, you saw people bring up old tweets. See, we live in a place where whatever you done, it is what it is. And I think that they don't know that this was probably already noted. This was known. I'm not sure if she said anything. I don't expect her to be like, yo, you know I said this in 20. You know, I'm just sure that his social media team knew that because, you know, for whatever reason, I don't think it's that serious. I don't look at it like that. That's internet. This business. But you don't put emotions in your evaluation to even get his interest. That ain't the only interest she got. That song was doing well. Every one of them rich, every one of them women, every dancer, everybody knew that song. So that was one of them ones. This was a good move. This was supposed to happen from somebody that had a bag to lend. Like if you need somebody to talk, to get some, they talking real shit, or you want the audience to view your artist in a day, you sit them next to Loon, he gonna talk that talk with them. They gonna have a great conversation. I think when you're young, sometimes you're saying things to get opportunity to try to fit in or whatever it might be. And maybe Dolph was closer than Gotti to her, so she may have saw a lane through that. You know, I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, I'm always genuine when I show love, but I am about to stop showing so much internet love because I think it's being received as wrong. I think they confusing a short man for a boy. But you got to know the value, and this is introducing Gotti to the female audience. Bag was really, he got some of that female audience by way of Ari. But other than that, the female audience ain't over there. So that was a very good move for that. And I think, again, he's wondering what Bag next move is, right? Bag can get as much money as he want from him or with him, I think. But Bag can also spin off and turn into some, you know, whether he's spring or fall, because he might spin off and fall off and need that family vibe because he's building a conglomerate, and that's how you save your label. Is this one going down, spread that marketing, move over to such and such, get him going there. Hey, you grab him, put him back in, you know, and you work him. You interchangeable with that shit. You put a song with him and that with this one and this one that, and you sit with him over here and do this part and that. Right, you got to start putting that shit together. So I see what he's doing, but some telling me that he's wondering what Bag gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get as much as I can from him on his last little runs. Like, you know, this compilation gonna come out, his next album, and he may stay. If he do stay, I think that's cool too. But we just gonna watch it and see what's happening. The business is the business, and this will help Beloved. This will help old girl Brandon. You know, getting with God in them, they gonna instantly put on jets and put a high level. See, sometimes you need that look. They need to go and put you high level. And that'll help you resonate and get you more fans and fast track your shit. You know what I'm saying? And get your teeth done. Whatever you need done, let's get that done immediately. Get you on high level and get you going. Let me say this. I don't want you to be tricked or feel bad when people say, yo, you changed, or you look at me a certain way. You ain't the same, or you done got money and got old. I want you to understand that people will get mad at you because they trick don't work. Humans had this ability to do a little fake check-in here and there. You know, a fake, you know, brother talk or fake little things like that. And so you must be aware. Love is real. I don't want to come off as hurt, although I identify things that may make me be viewed as hurt. Right? I look at things in a way of a hurt person, but I want you to know that I'm just dealing with the information. I know most souls have been broken. But I also know to get lost is to find a way. So at some point we meet in the middle, but I don't give people the luxury to be involved with every part of me. You get the standard package with this vehicle until I let you upgrade to the luxury seats. Yeah, you got the roll down windows right now. We're going to get you somewhere where you get the sunroof and all that. It just take a minute. I don't give access to every inch of me or involve myself with people that want that level of understanding from someone that they don't understand. The thing about understanding, when it involves two people, it's a two-way street. Understanding one way is dictatorship, and I don't want to be involved with that in either way. Right? I'm interested in learning. And I'm on a long road, and I understand the road I'm on. I want to be clear to the people ahead of me, man, that nothing is going to stop this. You have to get involved with this while it's in a point where you can. Because at some point, I'm a 10x the number. It's the right thing for me to do. I work hard. Did a lot of work on this. This ain't just a fast break. In this industry, it get weird. It get weird. I clap for I'm proud of I'm glad to see and hope get money. I think what that does for it make them think I'm a part of the audience. They done confused a short man for a boy. I don't need nobody, man. I done spent my life in this in real life. Self-sufficient, vertically integrated. I'm one of them men to stand up. I'm going to go get it. I'm a hustler. And I try to show love. I think because they think they're ahead of me in this game, it feel like they think I need them. And it's so unfortunate because it's uncomfortable. When you're a real one and you try to just come through the game like, yo, bro, I looked up to you. It's rough for me to even say that. It's only certain people I'm going to even say that to because it's just rough to say that. It's certain people that done so much. I don't care how you take it, bro. That's how I feel about you. It's others that how you feel about how I feel mean a little something to me. Because if you one of them type, fuck you. That's how I'm feeling. You ain't had that much value. Know what you need. I saw you do this and got it from here and done this with it. I know what you was doing when you were working with. But certainly so much is like, yo, bro, I look up what you done can't even be in my. I'm talking about how I view it. But you gotta know it's all kind of people that you can confuse as the audience. And Loon ain't the audience just because I'm clapping for and rooting for ain't part of the audience. Just like the people that hate you, they ain't part of the audience, but they in the crowd. Everybody in the crowd ain't part of the audience. Some people in the crowd love you. Some of them don't like you. Some of them want your spot. Others is headed the way you going, and they just studying the game. And that's which one you looking at when you dealing with me, right? I show up to your shows. I show up here. I look at the rap. I look at your jewelry, your jewelers, because I'm studying where I'm going to have to pass through. I'm time traveling on you niggas. But you got to know everybody in the crowd ain't part of the audience. And this way it get blurry because you get 8 million people that know you. You get 3 million followers. So all them followers you think is fans. Everybody in the audience ain't part of the crowd. And everybody in the crowd ain't part of the audience. I'm looking at game tape when I come see you talking, what's going on. I'm trying to figure out how you get that raw with that, bro. What is that little switch? You know? And I'm telling you, I'm starting to see things. I hope there go the trick. Kiss my I done developed a different muscle to him because I thought it was all natural. I don't got no notes. I don't look at nothing. But I know the importance of working together. When it come to me, I think I have a unique ability to be able to dance in all arenas. It'll take a minute for me to show, but I'm assured. I can dance in different arenas, right? Different looks and everything. I know what's going on. It's a small obstacle. That's a little bitty thing. I got a unique ability. Well, what happens is whatever audience you get, you only can get that audience, especially when people are doing clickbait journalism. So what happens is that audience you have, that's all you got. You can't communicate outside that. See, me, people come to me, they get information. They get entertainment and information, but that information part allows it to be limitless in regards to growth. When you deal with entertainment, there's a ceiling. And so a lot of have reached that ceiling, so they got to say salacious to try to keep breaking that ceiling. They trying to break that ceiling, and now they done dug a hole. And you can be digging looking for a fish and get a serpent. I'm going to leave that there. But that's why people lean to have to shock you, because if they don't shock you, you're not interested. And when you're not interested, they don't get paid. They want to continue to get paid, so they want to continue to be shocking. Whether that's disrespect, whatever that is, that's how they work. Right? When you put game down, the game is the game, is the game, is the game. And game respect game. And I see the game respecting game. So I'm living proof. The game respect game, and it's gonna do that. If it's potent and the real niggas can relate, they gonna pull in every time. The real niggas can relate and they love it, they gonna pull in every time. Ain't nothing to talk about, ain't no argument. We don't care who like him, we like him. We feel him. Fuck yeah. And that's how they rocking every time. But you got to be careful how you build, because you build it in a way where you shocking, then you got to keep being shocking. That's bad. If you build it in a way where, look, I'm an evolving guy, and people accept that from you, believe it or not. You just got to be intelligent, or people got to receive you in a way that, yo, I'm fucking with that, bro. And that's that on that. And I'm getting them kind of fans. I'm getting them in a different way. And I appreciate y'all. Round of applause for my motherfucking supporters. That's the new roadcaster. Got the new claps on there, man. Round of applause for y'all. We got one more topic. We're going to talk about Joe Budden, a couple of different things, and then we'll get out of here. Try to give y'all a good part today, hopefully. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it, you know. Biggest up there podcast vibration. We're going to take a quick break and be back. Let me talk about this, man, because it's near and dear to my heart, right? I'm a nigga come out of the street, and I come up in a single parent home, and was rough on my mom, and I was rough on my mom in regards to my limited listening. You understand me? But I think it's important that people like me speak on things, because there's people that really listen, right? And you got to listen, because hearing and listening is two different things. Like looking and seeing is two different things. You got to keep up with you got to really pick up what I'm putting down to even stay abreast with what it is I'm saying. But as I look at like the landscape of like parenthood, it's a very difficult job, not only for one person, for any particular male or female or man or woman, but it's heavy lifting, right? And it gets slippery because you become emotionally involved, and then that's where you take your common sense out. And I don't expect you to operate with all your sense when you're dealing with something you love so much. Right? It have to be a conscious effort to deal with your children with a certain level of common sense, not only for women, but for men too. But you got to view things and adjust when necessary, not because you want to be mean or you want to overstep your boundaries. You want to prepare them for what they up against. So what happens is, if I create an environment where you don't understand boundaries, I'm leading you into a situation where you have a distorted reality on consequences. You have a very blurry vision on what can happen to you in the event that you go against a rule, that you go against something, that you don't understand that the light is red just because you running late. I'm going to still run the light and you're going to get your car hit, right? Because you put your emotions in front of the circumstances. The circumstances say the light turn red, you have to stop. That's the rules. Abide by the rules or the world gonna spank you. Ain't nobody exempt from that. You understand me? And I'm talking about universal law is in effect. Niggas is going against universal law. You understand? And it's easy for niggas not to understand because they tied up in their emotions when you raised by your mother. See, it's a complex situation. It ain't just it's a slew of things happening, right? But I think it's important that I come out and put whatever little understanding I have down about it. And when I speak about these things, I can't say what it's like to raise a child like a woman, because I'm not a woman, and knowing is participation. You understand? So I never participated in having a child, carrying the child, things like that. I participated from a male point of view, but never like the woman that carried the child. I've never been able to put myself in that position. So I really can't compute the kind of love or the kind of understanding that they may have when they go through things with children. And it seems like that they have convinced themselves of the unknown. You never ever convince yourself of what you don't know. That don't make sense. I don't give a who you dealing with. Right? If you don't know, you don't convince yourself until you see the facts. Not till you've been led to believe, You understand? Till you see the facts. You got to know seeing and looking is different the same way listening and hearing is different. So you got to know what the fuck you got going on. You can't be, last person to know, because you going to fuck around and let the police find out what's going on with your child before you know. And then the police going to have to come tell you, man, well, your kid was involved in X, Y, and Z. These things are a reality, but it's because we lead with our emotion. Right. And I get it. I get it because I know it's a high level of, especially when you're a single parent, right? When you're single and you did it alone and the bond you might have created with them. But my thing is, them little boys fuck over their mama. Like, something about my conscience, even if me and my mama get into it or we, have a disagreement or something, like a couple days go by, it fuck with me. These little niggas over their mama and don't got no conscience about it. Don't give a fuck how they treat their mama. That should be offensive to real niggas. And that's what people don't understand. They think that that's some part of being gangster. But I tell you what I believe happens. What I believe happens is you go to dealing with little boys that's lying to their friends about their lifestyle. Right? So you deal with a little boy that's lying to his buddies about how he living and what he's able to do because he's trying to fit in. So he telling them that now for sure, I can do that. That ain't nothing. Now I can go there. He ain't even really keeping it gangster. Man, I gotta ask mama though. Now, if I run that by mama, the same mama that you always need to take you somewhere, and you always need to, man, can you do this for me? Can you go? They treat me bad. I don't really know what to say. What can you come get your whole game plan from mama? But then when you go around your friends, you discredit mama. I ain't got to ask her what's up. I just do kind of, I'm grown now. I'm getting old now. Nah, I ain't got to be weird to me. You know what I'm saying? But I think they getting caught in lying about their lifestyle to their friends to where all them little boys lying. All them little boys lying to each other. Oh, I get to do this. I can do that. That ain't nothing. I can do that, man. Ain't nothing. All us can do that. You can't do that, man. Y'all focused on the wrong shit. Y'all little, what y'all doing? Who gonna be the doctors? Who carrying the boat? Nigga? Gonna hit the fan. He look talking about what going on out there. I be confused. Somebody fill me in. But when I speak about things, I don't want people to think that I think I'm better than anyone. I gave my mother hell, but it always affected me. You understand? Like, it always affected me that I was stressing my mom out, or I was doing little shit that will make her worry and shit. Nowadays, it seems like these little care about everybody's feelings except their mamas. Man, they care about girls they trying to get, little girls they want a relationship with, they little friends. They care how they look at them. They don't give a fuck how mama look at them. Yeah, they done forgot how mama look at them. They don't do nothing but pull from mama. They don't pour into mama at all. They don't do nothing but pull from her. And then they wonder why that the man is somewhat saying, yo, nah, this ain't fair. Hey, adjust. They taking advantage of you. They even understanding what your weak points is, so they'll take your weak point when they in trouble and combine those and use your weak point like it was their weak point. And ain't nobody discrediting what children go through. I'm telling you, they getting savvy with what they doing. It's no longer just a simple thing like it used to be to raise a kid, because they want to be like the rappers that's lying. They don't know the rappers lying. So they want to be just like the rap niggas. And that's the only thing that make me, I like certain rap niggas like Meek. I always have talked hey, we ain't getting tricked off the streets. Certain niggas done always, Lil Baby, one of them niggas that always put that kind of game down. Look, I'm here to hustle, man. I ain't really, but all that shit that's influencing the children to think that, yo, man, that shit is starting to offend me. And me being a loud voice in the culture, because I'm popping without a rapper. I'm popping without a cosign. None of that. So I can disrupt some of this. And I think I got to start to take that position a little more, because I'm seeing the effects of for real in real life where little is thinking that they hard and they ain't never done nothing. That be blowing me. I be wondering where the fuck you get this from when you ain't never been in a real brawl. done come up with their eyes black and their ribs bruised and they sitting up for you ain't never been involved. The most you done is a little scuffle and somebody broke it up. I come from where ain't nobody breaking it up. Let them get down. Let them get the fuck down to somebody knocked out. And don't matter it be about you ain't even got the nuts to go. You see, a lot of times you got to watch for this, and I'll get to my topics, but this is just something I wanted to talk about. A lot of times these young or period, a lot of times they looking for somebody to break the fight up. They don't want to keep going. You understand? They want to hit you and then somebody hurry up and break it up. I'm a yell and talk loud. I'm going to be quiet over here beating on you. I want you in the corner. I'm going to knock you out, right? Because I think that you faking and it's offending me. Matter of fact, I know you faking. I know you faking. You understand? I ain't talking about you ain't dumb, little. I ain't saying you ain't stupid enough to hurt nobody when I say you faking. See, some people take me saying they faking and go to chasing what I say they ain't. You can't get it because you wasn't born in it. Ain't nothing you can do to get it. So you chasing the invisible ghost. When I say you faking, I'm saying you got a costume on when you looking at the world through that lens. You trying to act like you come up under. I know better because I know you. And I know when I see you, I know your vibration. I know you ain't come from, right? I just know, because don't now come from where we come from, want to look like another, be like another. None of that kind of shit. This new age, they playing copycat. They playing whoever, he get this hairstyle, I get this hairstyle. He wear these pants, I wear these pants. Where I come from, my era, it was a diss to look like somebody. It was offensive for somebody to say, like they be all under my comments calling me random rappers. I got to accept that because I know I'm in a new era and I know that I'm in the industry and on the internet. These new people, they take that as a thing. Like, oh, he look like Lil Baby. Ah, yeah. And they'll name themselves _ Lil Baby 2 or something. And it be like, what the f is happening? You going through an identity crisis at that age? Or is you haven't found yourself? It's something happening there that I don't know, but I always tell people that strategy is better than strength. Right? The strong outlast the weak, the smart outlast the strong. So at the end of the day, the ones that's thinking to last the longest. This is what I raised my children up on. I taught they can tell you that right there, fresh from their brain, just right now, because I taught that to them and drilled that in their head as they were growing up. Let these niggas act tough. The tough be the first people that die. Let these niggas go against the grain. Them the niggas that die first. Just hold on. The universal law is in effect. You ain't got to worry about it. Universe gonna take care of that. Watch what I tell you. A lot of little I remember coming up, right, and I didn't bother nobody, but I had fights, hood fights. But in every hood, you got certain people that think they can take things from people. So as I come up having to defend myself, I noticed that certain niggas that I got into it with, or we may had a scuffle, or I may had to, they may had to tell him, man, don't do it. He got a gun on him or something, or just keep him off me. A lot of them end up dead without me having to do nothing. Because universal law be in effect. Your behavior don't change. What you think is necessary don't change. So you going to keep going through life thinking you can bully people, take some, do what you want, and somebody going to spank you. Somebody going to spank you. And you going to be somewhere looking up at life saying, damn, I threw my whole life away thinking I was something that I wasn't. All them, ask them. I got buddies that done 25 years and ask them, everybody get along in the penitentiary. All them beefing on the street, the ops and all that, them eat together in prison. They get some act right in prison, right? So either that or somebody gonna put you under. So you gotta understand, bro, I'm telling you not something that I haven't experienced. I come up through that tunnel. I got lost in thinking I gotta try to fit in with the nigga too. I understood that fitting in make you a part of the pack. And when you're a part of the pack, you hard to identify. I didn't want to be hard to identify, so I had to get away from the pack. And then I saw a evolving dough from the streets to the penitentiary. I saw it. I was like, oh, no, they won't catch me in that carousel. Now I got to figure out a way to hit the holes. I just told you I'm creating things. I'm a creator. A lot of these young destroyers, but they got to come listen to me. I'm trying to help understand, yo, little, don't trick yourself out your position, stupid. How dumb these go down as the dumbest in history, man. Some of these young go down as the dumbest in history, man. One of my biggest attributes is that I'm no different than nobody, but I observe more than everybody. And that's just one of my attributes. But one of my flaws is that I love hard. I love way too hard, right? So when my emotions is involved, it get blurry. That's why I make a conscious effort to try not to look at things like I love the person that I'm judging, that I love the person in the circumstances that I'm judging, because I'm always dealing with information, not emotion, or at least I'm trying to. So I look at and I say, okay, he stole from me. What do that tell me about him? I don't give a fuck if it's my uncle, my mother, my child. All right, you did this to me. What does that say to me? I need to compute that. What does that mean, right? And when you take a approach like that, a lot of people say you're unreasonable because you consider the future. I keep telling people I respect the future. When I look at what a person will do or has done, if I don't take that and try to figure out what they will do, I ain't doing no risk assessment. And the women can live like that. The women can live, in my opinion, in a way where they don't got to do as much risk assessment in regards to those things. But if you talk about a man that's not doing risk assessment in that way, I think that he's doing himself a disservice. I also talk about, right, because I know I come up in a time where this faking stuff that they doing, they wasn't as good at it. So if somebody was faking, they were easily exposed. In my era, they come exposed. And so now you're able to fake it a much longer. You know, I think that we've been compromised. I think that our thinking and the way that the things that we solidify and the things that we after, that thinking has been captured. So I think we look at in a way that's, for the most part, not going to be productive for the people that's following us. And at least if ahead of me didn't give me nothing else, I give them a salute for giving me, at least, even if they were lying, they gave me a blueprint of what they thought it was, right? So if they wasn't hustling as hard as they put it out, because as I get closer, I'm starting to think I'm dealing with that want the Chrysler that look like the Bentley. You want the Chrysler that look like the Bentley. I remember Diddy told you that we don't want the Chrysler look like the Bentley. We want to get the Bentley. We want the money for real. I just think it's just a little too comfortable being around each other all day and not being productive. All my productive brothers, all my productive homeboys, I understand, right? When you build, and I understand the work for two men shouldn't be done by one man. So I get that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about hanging around, chilling, and doing nothing all day, just kicking it. Who kicking it with all this money floating around? Y'all kicking it? Oh, yeah. Y'all want the Chrysler that look like the Bentley. Y'all know what type of dealing with. I'm also affected by the amount of constantly increasing men that's comfortable riding. See, they finding little savvy and crafty ways to ride now. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, again, I understand showing love, and when it's proper, it's proper. Ain't nothing wrong with showing love, but a lot of people trying to work one of the eyes on your stove. A lot of people trying to get in the car. Yeah, they done looked in the car. They see his room in the car, so they trying to get in the car. You know what I'm saying? So they ride. They used to teach you to trust his eyes, right? Never to trust your ears. And I used to go by that until we started social media, and they come out with like Photoshop. Now you can't even trust your eyes. You got to be careful with what you see. It will perform a magic trick right in front of your face in regards to the lifestyle they live in and how they come through and how they moving. But I don't understand riding. I understand hustling. I know when you hustle, and I'm living proof. When you hustle, it's going to work. You got to get to it, though. And you can't get to it without no information, like digging just to be digging. You got to dig where gold been found at, right? First, you got to study the location. Then you got to know where to dig. Then get your digging game right. So a lot of people think that you can just, hey, they say if you go to the boxing gym and just swing, you're gonna be a better boxer. Nah, you need to work on your form, your footwork. You need to work on your hook, your jab, your combinations. And you need to do it in a way where it fits the game that you in. And I notice when I talk about the conditions of like parenthood and mothers, because I come up under a strong woman, so I come up under a mother, and I ain't do all the right things. Right? And so when I look back at it, I can only imagine how that could have felt. You understand? Getting in trouble, doing certain things. And for me, as I'm coming through life and as I get older and as I become the guy that I'm going to be or step into whatever manhood or understanding that I have, I start to view these things very different. It comes off a way and I become passionate in the way that I speak, but I do also understand that I got to deliver a message. I got to deliver it in a way where it's consumable, where people is tangible, where people can get some from it, right? And I also need to deliver it with a certain level of tranquility. You understand? Because sometimes they'll take how I'm saying it and mix up what I'm saying. And when you're not dealing with what I'm saying, you're dealing with something other than the truth. Put yourself in that circumstance and ain't no telling where you end up at. So I don't indulge in those things. And I just want people to know that when I speak from love, which means to speak without judgment, right? I'm not judging anything. I'm just trying to deal with what I'm seeing and trying to put it in a way where it's understandable and it's digestible. It ain't too many people that can do that. So allow me to do that in a way that's effective for not only me, my people, my family, but effective for the people that's watching. You understand? And we going to continue to try to do that. I want to speak about this Joe Budden conversation, and then we'll get out of here. Joe Budden had a conversation on his podcast with Ish, Ice, the whole team. Shout out to them. Surf was on there, and they was talking about people being displaced in regards to COVID. It was a very interesting conversation. I want to get into it, but I want to put some framework around what kind of was happening. So for those of you unaware, in COVID, there was a circumstantial situation where you can get an extra $600 a month. I'm sorry, extra $600 a week on your unemployment. So therefore, if you qualified, usually if you worked 40 hours in a state like New York, you'll probably hit the threshold to get the maximum. The maximum at that time was $600. And then the bonus would be an additional $600. Now that seems like a win for someone that was probably only making, $600, $700, $800 a week, maybe $1,000 a week, because now they put you in a position to get double that. You get $1,200 a week, and then you get that for 4 weeks, and you get that for 2 years. Now, simultaneously, when they did that, they also went into effect that, you don't have to pay your rent. We know everybody's going through something right now. So all renters, everything's on hold. And at that time, people that have rental properties were in disarray. Not the big guys, but some of the smaller people, some of the people that chose that and dumped all their retirement money into buying a few houses or been having a house since 1960. And boy, I got lucky and now that house worth something. All those people, payments were on hold as their mortgage was not. So rent and mortgage is different. You can be renting something that you don't own, and also you can be renting out something that you don't own. Follow what I'm saying? You can place someone in a house that you are still paying mortgage on, right? So a lot of people do that, and what will happen is as you pay the landlord, he pays the mortgage. So he's not really coming out of his pocket with that. He's making something off of it. But it's a transactional kind of thing. So now when he has 2 or 3 of those houses and those people say, we ain't paying, the government said we not paying, and that money is no longer being sent to the bank, but he's still responsible for that money. I need people to understand that's an uncomfortable situation. But what we dealt with here was Joe Budden and Ish and Ice and them having the conversation, and Ish was making a lot of good points in my opinion. I also think that you're watching Joe Budden kind of fight for topics. It seems like he's taking certain positions just for the sake of podcasting. And when that becomes evident, I think that that's an issue. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing, but for the savvy mind, if you've been watching, his whole style has changed. And I'm not sure he's comfortable with his new style of pardon. I don't see it. I don't see him as comfortable as I once did. And I can get more into it if I want to. But let's take a listen to a little bit of this conversation, and then we'll come back with some game.
But they want the opportunity to, the town.
Pay more. Pay more.
That's
Yo,
totally
if we go to the 9, me and you go to the 9. Me and you.
I'm not usually on the side of that. But
I think this don't do nothing but really put a radius. I think that's just. You said you agree that you should. I'm saying this don't really like.
I disagree.
This puts like.
So you're gonna have to do monthly rentals. So now I can't go to do short term rentals. I gotta do.
If you enter real estate for.
Ish my man, so I ain't even gonna tell y'all what his thoughts on what the landlord should have did to these renters during the pandemic.
What I said?
Throw them bums on the street if they can't pay their rent.
I didn't say that.
That's crazy.
I didn't say that.
I'm talking shit.
No, what I said was, and again, this is the misnomer that all landlords are rich.
I never said that.
Parks just said it.
I didn't say all landlords.
I never said it. So what I'm saying is,
if you own multiple properties, you
probably got
more wealth than the guy that works at the grocery store that's paying $2,000 a month for your place.
Yeah, if we took, because we talking about people with 10, we talking about people with more than 2.
How many houses your grandparents own?
3.
They own 3 multifamily houses. That's the typical landlord in America. So Ice's grandparents own 3 houses that they have mortgages on.
1.
I'm saying
okay.
They have mortgages on houses. So now, all of a sudden, pandemic happened. They cannot pay their mortgage. So contingent upon what kind of mortgage you have, that mortgage is still due.
Mm-hmm.
That mortgage is still due. So now I can't pay my mortgage. Y'all saying F me? You say what?
Because they had money for the renters.
And I had the argument that the government is not giving them money. And I said, yo, some of these people are making more money from the they was getting $1,200 a month.
Stimulus.
They were making more money than they made at their jobs, and they were not entitled to pay rent.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought renters and landlords got assistance during pandemic.
No.
Yeah, but what happened? I actually remember
it was certain different.
Some people, depending on how you purchased, your mortgage got
that's first world problems.
Paused. Your mortgage got paused.
Right.
But then they took the mortgage and still put it on the back of your loan.
Right.
That's help.
But for the people that didn't get no, but
that's help like a motherfucker.
Some people,
but it wasn't all of your properties. It wasn't all your properties.
Everybody don't qualify for everything with nothing.
Some people, this is their only source of income. So just because you don't have to pay your mortgage, right? Cool, you're not kicking out no money, but now you don't have no money coming in to eat. And so listen,
the risk you take. It's business.
As the owner,
it's investment.
Cool. And what I'm saying is, somebody now living in your house is getting $1,200 a month, and they don't have to pay rent. Some of them was making more money than they made from their job.
Go back to work.
There has to be some genius that thinks about liabilities and the assets. Like
for some reason, they just act like they don't see what he was saying. I'm thoroughly confused as to why we don't understand what he's saying.
Right, you know what I mean? Like you can't.
You have liability, and you.
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm not about to. I'm not gonna like pacify the person who owns 15 houses because, like Parks is saying,
this is what you're going to. But this is what you do. You go from 0 to 1,000. It's in the middle that own 2 or 3.
We dealing with life.
The owner assumes responsibility.
Yeah,
you assume responsibility. You own 10 houses. So every day's not a pandemic.
I get Ish point, but Ish point is near and dear to the home of the realtor.
Right. You know what I mean?
I get it.
And my thing with you was, he takes that money that he's not getting and he provides for himself and his family. And that money's not coming in now, but he's still got that house that he owns, which is worth something. The guy that's paying the rent, his money not coming in, and he don't own nothing, and he can't feed his family at all.
No, you're wrong though, and that's my point. And
what does he own?
He's getting $1,200 a month from the government. That was more money than
$1,200 a month.
I mean, it was $1,200
in the middle of a pandemic.
It was $1,200 a week.
I don't think nobody was getting no $1,200.
It's $1,200 a week. They didn't go back to work on purpose because they was getting. Let me finish, man.
That's the $1,200 versus me owning this building.
Let me finish.
You can't convince me. Okay.
Bro, I would love to finish.
Go ahead.
I'm not making $1,200 a week at my job. The government's giving me $1,200 a week. A week.
We have to Google that.
A week.
I don't think stimulus was.
They were getting $1,200 a week.
totally different. That's all right.
I'm not gonna pay my rent because the government said I don't have to. But I'm making more money than I made when I went to work.
Well, shout out to the salty landlord that's mad that now I get unemployment. That's getting me $4,000. That has nothing to do with you, landlord.
What are you?
No, because that now my
tenant.
You're pocket watching.
Pocket watching.
The tenant here. The law said I don't have to pay you for a little bit, and I'm making money.
Let me point out the hypocrisy of this.
When you was paying your rent and everybody, all my 10 houses was paying my rent, I ain't give a about none of y'all in these boxes. But now that the pandemic hit,
y'all creating and painting the narrative of the landlord being. No, I didn't. I didn't say I don't give a about none of my tenants.
You said now somebody am I in there getting $1,200 a week now?
The landlord doing what?
That matter.
You said now when y'all was listen, please listen, dog. I provide safe and adequate housing. That's my end of the lease. That's my end of the contract. Yeah. That's the same thing. A landlord's job is to provide safe and adequate housing. Your lease and your end of the contract is to pay me for that safe and adequate housing.
Something like a pandemic happens.
So when the pandemic happens, let me finish, please. When the pandemic happens and now you getting more money than you was getting before, you still not gonna pay your rent?
No.
Are not in distress, and that was the issue. Saying, yo, they fucked up. Not fucked up. They getting more money than they was getting before. Some were fucked up. Don't get me wrong.
Like and I gotta be having to check facts to with you in your brain.
Alex,
the people that listen to me, even those people that was receiving that $1,200 from unemployment, I know because I spoke to many of them. The list of the check boxes that they had to hit to be able to be eligible for that. Everybody wasn't getting that.
That wasn't the whole block.
Ice worked.
That was the whole block.
So you got to deal with the people that worked for somebody else. I'm wrong, Ice?
No, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
They made that very easy.
They made that super easy
to get your unemployment money. Super easy.
They was giving
they was big meat.
All right, let's deal with a little bit of what they're saying. Something's off with the part with Joe. Something's off, but. If you are dealing with the facts, you know the 1,200 thing was real. That's why it was so much money poured into unemployment. That also led to the PPP thing. So if you really know that, you know what's happening. I don't see where they don't see it. I'm starting to believe this is just for content. I don't view this as like an attack on the big realtors, this conversation. I view this as small business. And if anybody knows anything about COVID, what it did was it crashed the small businesses. The big boys, they make enough revenue, they're going to be okay. It's the small business that was affected. And so the people that Ish is talking about is small business people. What I find interesting is that Joe is the rage against the machine. You the guy that says, hey, Spotify, respect the smaller creator, respect. So to have that viewpoint on small business just from a different view, it says something. I don't know, but let's listen to a little more.
I know everybody wasn't running around.
I don't care what y'all say.
They was getting.
I know many of them.
That's unemployment. That's not stimulus. I'm talking about unemployment in New Jersey. They were giving you your $600
plus
and
an additional
a bonus on top of that every week. Dog, I tried to get somebody a job because I'm like, bro, you almost 50. You ain't got no health insurance. I was gonna get him a job at my job. He came in, talked to them, and he was like, I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
I make more money
doing this.
But
I'm telling you,
I don't know that everybody.
That's
buddy.
Everybody.
That's why
everybody not eligible for that.
That's wrong.
No, that's the stimulus shit.
In New Jersey, I can only speak for New Jersey and New York because I'm familiar with those two states. All right, how unemployment goes is based on your income. So if you was a part-time employee, no, you wasn't going to get $1,200.
Right, it was different numbers.
If you was a full-time employee and your maximum benefit, bam. Don't listen to me. Listen to them. CNBC.
Yeah, I think it's a hater.
I'm a hater. You're not paying me.
I don't have
to. I'm starving. That's hate.
I don't have to.
I don't give a what you do with your money. I'm talking about my money.
The pocket watcher ish.
That's not me. Yo, you're crazy.
That's pocket watching.
Something up.
I'm not gonna let you do that to me, ish. That's totally different.
It's not different.
We're talking about me running a business and you stop.
What the f is a landlord, sir?
That's a landlord.
And that's the problem.
Thank you,
Silk City
that's
bottles.
What makes it pocket watching.
Right.
That's literally what makes it pocket watching. The minute that I wasn't thinking about your pockets when everything was okay. Now
because you was paying,
because you were paying my rent.
But you owe me money.
You're not going through hard.
Yo, the idea that they don't understand that again, I view it as small business on small business because buying a home, even one home, your home to live in, that's a business move. Whether you utilize it like a business move depends on the information you have, but buying your personal home is a business decision. So when you hear people argue and say, yo, I ain't talking about the people that's doing, I'm talking about people are living there. They're not running business. No, they are running. This is a business move to buy a house. Any large purchase like that is a business move. Let's not look past that. Number two, usually if you're especially a black realtor, you usually don't come from money. So you've had to do a couple flea flickers and run a couple plays to get in position to own a couple of homes. Sometimes you were working, making 6 figures a year, move some money around. Got it over here, did this, that, did this, and that. And now you're in a position where you got a few homes, but that don't make you wealthy. That make you not employed by somebody and being working for yourself. And it just shocks me to hear Joe Budden, someone that didn't take the big deal because of whatever deals he had with Rory and them and did it himself. It just shocks me that he sees it that way. Some people got their life savings in the 2 or 3 houses. Some people work for companies that didn't give them a justified retirement pension. Some people work for companies where they never got a pension. So there's a lot that doesn't happen to where people has had to transition in their older age. And so these 2 or 3 houses taking care of me, mama, and she's sick. Yeah, my wife, see, some old people, they done got older, they got 2 or 3. So you got to consider them. Everybody knows COVID crippled the small business. It hurt the small businesses. A lot of shit was birthed in COVID. But if you had a small business, in particular a restaurant, in particular real estate, 2 or 3 real estate homes where you were renting them out and didn't own them, those things got real slippery for you when that COVID thing hit. The rules wasn't in your favor. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Yo, you said it's not
your business if the that live in your house is going through hardship or not. Tell me.
I can answer you.
Okay,
because
answer me.
If you my tenant,
and I walk past and you sniffling and crying because you have.
If you're my tenant and you're going through hardship, financial hardship, it's understandable why you're not paying your rent. I can empathize with you because I'm a human. Let me finish, because you're about to cut me off. I can empathize with you while you're not paying your rent. But if I see you outside with a brand new Porsche and you not paying your fucking rent, that's not pocket watch.
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Yo, you bringing in too much human emotion, yo. Yo,
this is business.
Then why you sound so emotional? If
you're not paying me.
So what?
I don't have to.
I don't have to pay you.
Disease outside.
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I don't have to pay you.
Outside.
You know
I watched the news.
Let me fix this.
The news said
this is what separates niggas more.
Niggas that rent. The news.
I know.
My decision has nothing to do with who owns the property and how I feel about him. Mm-hmm. I'm watching the news, and they say all renters, you got a little leeway. Yes, I expect the renters to take advantage of that.
That's
it's not
true.
personal to the nigga that owns the house.
It sounds asinine to even say something like
Let's be clear. That's true. You expect the renters to take advantage of that because there's a loophole in the system at that time. And just because that's true doesn't mean the other part isn't true, that cripples and hurts, and that's up if you own those houses to where you're making 2 or 3 times of what you made and you're not paying.
You can't even
Let
go
me finish.
outside.
I would love to speak. The government is now subsidizing your fucking life. What are you talking about?
Before, that's why when I hear this, I think they were making these rules for these huge companies that were buying buildings and whole properties, like not just 1 and 2, but they were buying mad properties to Airbnb them, and they was fucking up people of the town. I think that was a New Orleans story that we spoke about.
I don't know about that.
Because in reality, how many people, so you're in real estate, so this is near and dear to your heart. But if you're not in real estate, how many people are taking all of their money to go and buy places to Airbnb?
The whole block.
A lot of people are doing it because now it is a new form of income for people.
How many, when you start talking about more, who has more than 2 houses, I think that number is small.
And also, not for nothing, too, imagine if, I don't know what kind of area you live in. I can imagine, for me, if all these are Airbnbs over here and there's just people coming in and out at all times and not from here and leaving garbage around and partying and they coming into the building and I don't know who's what, I would be tight. And I would be calling my local Congress, whatever the
just don't.
Let me explain a couple of things that I'm peeping with this. First of all, if you've watched Joe Budden from the beginning, his pod style has changed. I cited at the beginning, And because I know people and getting in the industry, I cannot not talk about these things. It's important that I identify the game. But if you, at the beginning I cited that, Ish and the way Ish pods and his knowledge and is not going to allow Joe to just go on those rants like he used to clear out. He doesn't even seem as enthused to be doing this. The guys seem wore out. Seems like they're kind of struggling for topics. So now his thing is to sit back and go against Ish when there's nothing to talk about. So he pulls into this Airbnb subject because he thinks that, okay, this is Ish's wheelhouse. This is housing, right? Ish has this thought process about it that says, I've chosen to own real estate as my employment, as my business. See, this is the mind of America you're dealing with. A lot of people got to work a mindset. They can't even understand that, I'm struggling in this time the same way they struggling. You understand? You can't be the man versus the rage versus the machine and not understand small businesses in that way. If you know anything about COVID, you know COVID crippled small businesses. And landlords of that magnitude of small businesses, we ain't talking about Gertner and some of the people that own thousands of real estate around the world. Those people will be okay, but we talking about the small businesses, the mom and pop stores. Those people were having trouble. Walmart and things like that, they went away to go and get the PPP stuff. So they had stuff for them, but we talking about the people that might done retired and scratched up on a house or two, and people might have left from a house. I just want to kind of frame how I think that this is interesting. That again, I think it's fighting for content. I think that he's fighting for Joe's fighting for things to try to talk about, because I don't understand how in one notion you can be like, Spotify, pay me this amount. Small businesses respect the creator and not understand like, you was raised against the machine. These dudes are small businesses that has in this big world got 2 or 3 properties. Now they giving them relief for 1 or 2. Understand, COVID crippled small businesses. Just understand that as you listen to this.
Things change.
People live there.
Because people like you say you bought a car.
It's a necessity.
Cars might be different.
A lot of things are necessities in the world.
Like
food.
Right. So if they pulled up and said you can't buy it, like it's times when we have things going on in America where it's like, you're only allowed to get X amount of gas or X amount of, because sometimes it calls for that.
So if you're paying attention, I want to check y'all in. What they're talking about is of Airbnbs being brought in your community or your subdivision, and the people there not being as effective in regards to the community, in regards to economics in that area as someone that lives there. I would like to argue that no, that's not true. I would like to argue that if you live in a community, you find out that the gas 20 cents cheaper around the corner. The bread is $1 cheaper at that store. So you start to know where to budget your money. When you have someone coming in from out of town, the first store they see, they going to try to go in. The first gas station they see. So all these things, they paying top dollar, whether they know it or not, in that area. So I would argue against the fact that people who do Airbnb don't come and spend as much money as people that live in the neighborhood. Now they're getting into like the hotel side of this. They're arguing about a hotel being brought on the block.
My block. You can't build a hotel on this block. You can't.
We're talking about hypothetical situations. So you don't live on the block with an Airbnb. I'm not sure.
Nobody lives relatively
and
close.
I would want the town to step in if by chance they just some rich or rich company somewhere came and put hotels on the
in
whole
my
strip.
backyard. Yeah.
If the whole strip was hotels, I would want somebody to intervene and say, you can't do that. If McDonald's came in, we was just talking that talk about how they're a real estate company.
You talking
if they
about
bought the whole River Road
hotels
and would only put McDonald's there, I want somebody to jump in and say, hey, and some of these Airbnbs, they have in the contract
that you can't
do that. Yes. And I think that they have failed. And
so now that is so listen, we taking it to the party. We go on and saying that that's the only reason that you can't.
See, but
if I live next door to you and you are disturbing my kids,
mad reasons why they would want to stop that. But listen, as a town, forget about the angle we're taking it from. As a town, I could see a town wanting to protect the citizens by saying but especially the citizens, you said the ones that have the money. If you have the $2,500, $3,000 per month to pay this rent, or the $3,500, whatever it is, to pay this rent, I could see them wanting to protect you having to pay that for a month versus your Airbnb and having to pay that for a 2 and 3 day stay. If I'm the town and is displaced, but I'm watching you get money.
That's what we're messing up at.
Why?
Because when you say displaced, it means you're taking somebody from A, moving them to point B. That's displacement. I'm not taking anybody. It was a house for sale. I bought it. I didn't displace anybody. I didn't take somebody out of their home and make them move across town. It's not gentrification.
It's somebody
Stop. Let me follow him.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
I disagree with your example because in this, let's do that. But you have 2 and 3 homes. Mm-hmm. And now let's multiply you by however many out there doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Now displaced, no?
No.
Let me say this, man. It's crazy to hear people argue fair housing when that's not even a thing. How can fair housing be a thing, or they care so much about housing in a country where homelessness is up so high, right? So people are homeless. Now, I ain't speaking of the ones that want to live that type of life, because you have a subsection of that community that chooses to live a free life in that way. But some people are forced into that situation. The United States doesn't step in housing and try to make sure. That's not a thing. They don't give a damn if you live with rats and roaches or whatever your circumstances is. They're not interested in that. Let me deal with the hotel argument as well. I find it interesting that they don't understand. Well, hotels are equipped and have accommodations for a large amount of people. It's a little different, right? But don't nobody care about how many hotels on the block. They don't care what the big people doing. They always care what the small fries is doing. Now, I'll argue also that with the hotel thing, it's a bit different. Again, they have constant representation to go around and make sure that a party-like environment is controlled if that atmosphere is even allowed. But when you deal with the Airbnbs, what's happening is this Airbnb in this house is made for me. I say 3 people can stay here, 4 people. Maybe 12 if you go get you a mansion of 12, but then they'll show up with 75 people. So it's an overhaul of people that's coming into the neighborhood. They park and all that. So I can understand the argument from a disturbance standpoint. When we deal with business, I'm just not sure that I see the government step in or state step in or have that level of interest in business outside of real estate. Real estate is a tricky game in every state in America. Some people are aware of the value of real estate, some aren't. But the state is always aware of what's going on with the real estate in their community. Also, let me speak on this. Joe Budden says he's going to go to 1 time a week. You know, I think that he may be overhauling, may be working too hard. You got to think, man. Converting all his audience or most of his audience to paying customers was a great move. But you now got to sustain that. So it's almost like catching a knife by the blade. So you lucky enough that the knife didn't stab you, but did it cut you enough to where you will bleed out, right? You fixed the problem, but can you sustain that fix? Or should you had been innovative and switched it again already? You know, but I think that because I remember when he was trying to go on tour, I seen that he pulled out of that. See, he ain't playing the game everybody else playing, where they getting a festival and 10 podcasts is coming, so all these different audiences. He's trying to go by himself on tour with him, Ish and Ice. And I don't know how effective at the time he tried to do it that the sales were. You know, I think he was just like, nah, let's redo that. Let's get this building, let's revamp a little bit, and then reapproach that, and then we'll approach the market a different way in touring. If it ain't broke, don't break it. They do 2 full pods a week, which is like 2.5 hours. That's a lot. It's like 5 hours. Then they also drop 2 or 3 times a week in the middle of that on Patreon. So they giving a lot of content. They working hard over there. To where I think that what Joe Budden's idea of a podcast or idea of a self-sustaining situation like that is a situation where they argue it out, almost like a first take. And I'm not sure if we are equipped. I think you got to probably be in TV a long time or be doing this a long time to be able to fake argue, right? Fake arguing is a thing, right? They think it's an art, and it's an art to it, but it's hard not to get emotional about it when the camera's cut off. especially if every day we come in here and we fake arguing, that starts to maybe create an environment. You know what I'm saying? So again, paying attention to what people think a show is. I'm just lucky enough to be able to dance in whatever little thing it is. I'm dancing in my own rain over here with my show. But when I see, you know, when I see certain positions being took, and then you're saying, yo, I'm going down to one a week in regards to podcasts, because he won't with that Pateron money. He gonna try to keep that the same. We're gonna keep feeding y'all to keep y'all subscribed. That's what's funding me. That's why I ain't had to take the big deal. But we'll get to that whenever I'm able to sit down with him. And we'll speak about that a little bit and just kind of give some game out about circumstantial things that the public may or may not know, you know. So just great conversations to have. Another podcast, man. Another podcast, the fastest growing pod in the world. Make sure you share, subscribe. Shout out to Revo TV. Come to Patreon right now, man. Come to Patreon right now. Round of applause for my motherfucking supporters. Come to Patreon, see about us. You know what I'm saying? That's what a real support is. If you can afford it, get there. If you can't, just keep getting it where it's free. But hopefully I'm talking to some people out there that got some money that understand game. Like, yo, what he putting down is worth it. And if you do, I appreciate that. It's Up There Podcast, the biggest shit ever. Skid it.